Good evening, everybody! Welcome into the AEL University Elite Series here with Matzy and TwoTapTony. It's that time again, Tony. It's Rivals time!
Woo! Rivals time, baby. Yeah, we're back, Matt. You and me.
That's it. We're moving at the speed of light, and it's going to be a great time here tonight as we talk about our favorites right now. A big shout out to our sponsors. So,
of course.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. AGON by AOC, the #1 gaming monitor brand in the world. AGON by AOC provide the best in-class monitor solutions for gaming and all other needs, Matt.
That's right. And a big shout out to HyperX and Officeworks. Power your game with the latest HyperX gear at Officeworks. When you need speed, control, and zero distractions, Officeworks has got the tech. Discover gaming gear made to handle serious play.
And as well, shout out to Indomie, the noodle partner made with higher quality flour and selected ingredients and spices. A plate of Indomie meagering will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the flavors available today at your local grocer or at indomie.com.au. Matt, again, shout out our sponsors. Couldn't have done it without them.
That's it. A big shout out to each and every one of them there. You know them. We love them, and we can't wait to see more from them. But you know what else we're going to see, Tony? We're going to see how our teams are doing. We're going to check out our standings right here.
Yeah, looking at an impressive kind of scoreboard here. You know, we saw a few teams shift up and down the leaderboard as we saw our games last week. But UNSW sitting at top of the throne, still at 5-1. RMIT, QUT, and UTS and Monash not far behind though at that 4-2. Macquarie down at the 2-4. Swinburne 1-5, and Deakin still unfortunately to put a win to their board. But maybe tonight, Matt. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe tonight could be their night. You know, they've been so close to it so often. Like last week, they were on the edge of glory there. I really had hope for them that they were going to be able to just take that achievement for their own there. But alas, it was not meant to be. But tonight it might be. Into our schedule of games now. You can see RMIT, QUT to kick off there. So definitely intense competition to start things off for the evening. You know, both these teams have shown a lot of prowess, a lot of power, and I'm really curious to see which one's going to be able to push ahead. But that's not the only game on the card here. We've got UNSW Macquarie at 8 p.m, following suit with Monash and Deakin. And then we jump into our final match of the night, 10 p.m, UTS and Swinburne.
Yeah, some very exciting games, especially that first one. I feel like will be a little bit closer. RMIT haven't had the best of showings recently. QUT have looked very, I guess, dominant in their own regard. You know, they've been playing some pretty good games. UNSW Macquarie should be an interesting one. Monash, Deakin, you know, it's probably very favored towards Monash, but you never know when Deakin could pull out an upset here. UTS versus Swinburne is the final one. You know, that one as well should be an interesting one. Very favored, of course, towards UTS, but Swinburne as well, a team that could definitely pull out an upset. So, yeah, Matt, as you alluded to, we got some interesting games for us this evening as well on a new patch of all things.
Yeah, we sure do, Mr. Tony. New patch and new time, and that time is Angela time. Really keen to see if some of the teams here are actually going to be taking advantage of that, you know, looking to implement the new hero into their arsenal. Like we saw some pretty great prominence from that when Blade first came out into the mix there. You know, teams already started making use of that character. Obviously, you don't see Blade too prominently these days. I think he comes out every so often. You know, when a team really wants to spice things up, use some of those anti-healing capabilities there, then you really see Blade shine. But otherwise, you don't see him too much. Hopefully, we see him into match one tonight, though, as we take a look at RMIT, QUT, our first two teams on the card here once again. And who's going to be playing for them? Well, I'm so glad you asked. It's going to be TwoTapTony. Nah, it's going to be... Who is it going to be, Tony?
I'm well past my playing time, man. I'm an old man now in terms of playing standards. But, of course, for the RMIT side, it's Air Ninja, Smiles, Kari, OTR, not Otter. I believe I said Otter last week. It's OTR, Kara, and Insert Coin 53, who we got to speak to last week, I believe, from RMIT. He had a lot of interesting insight. For the side of QUT, it's Jay, Rexy, Scammers on Juicy, Donners, and Talisman. Yeah, as I said, both pretty scary rosters, and I was going to say QUT have looked very, very good in some of their games. RMIT as well, picking up a much needed win last week to kind of get their confidence back, because they've looked a little bit shaky this time around going into this kind of league.
Yeah, it's definitely been, I guess, a new version of the roster, hasn't it? You know, it's a bit different to maybe what we're used to here. And I'm curious to see how they're going to approach this one, I suppose, when we do get into it. But speaking of the stakes on hand here tonight, Tony, this matchup is a very important one, because the winner of this matchup is going to be guaranteed a spot in playoffs. Loser, they've still got a chance, but it's really going to depend on how everything else plays out. Fate is in, but not so much in their hands.
Yeah, I was gonna say we spoke a ton about I guess tiebreakers behind the scenes and doing the math and such. So it's gonna be an interesting one. Who comes out on top, as you said, winner guaranteeing playoffs. Loser, of course, it depends on a bunch of different scenarios and such. So we'll work that out, of course, as it comes to it. But yeah, looking at these rosters on paper, I was going to say RMIT, very strong frontline Vanguard presence. I was going to say Air Ninja and Smiles have been a treat to watch on these Vanguards throughout the whole season. I was going to say as well, OTR has been, stunning. Kero and insert coin on that strategist role, especially for RMIT, has looked very solid. So I feel like for a team like QUT, it's definitely going to be about shutting down one of those two facets, whether you shut down the Vanguards or you shut down the strategists in the backline.
And look at this, Tony. Bernard T'Challa coming at ya. Let's go. Map number 1 here. Excited for domination to kick things off into the mix on this one. I reckon, we don't often see that one as our first map, I don't think. Normally we're more towards Hell's Heaven, if I'm not mistaken. Going in that direction. So interesting to see Bernard T'Challa actually break through into the first one. I do like the capabilities of this map. I think that it's great, especially on that one mission area point there where you have to break down, I guess, the sides of the building to cut off the lines of entry towards the mission area. I really like that. Into the dark. And time, and hey, who's gonna go?
Yeah, who's of a high priority now that we've of course swapped up patches? Different things fall out of favor. Some new things come into mix. Of course, we haven't seen, I guess, all too much prominence towards the Angela pick. I was gonna say at least ranked play and such, and a few tournaments over the weekend that kind of happened. Angela hasn't been too much of a prominent staple pick for a ton of the Vanguard players in the scene, so I don't think we'll see too much Angela this evening. It might just kind of sit in the back burner, as you said. Blade, one of those picks that's very situational as well, but Torch is still in the meta and still a very prominent threat, so I like that adaptation. QUT already identifying that they want to take away Torch, but they also want to lock it in for themselves.
Yeah, so that's going to be a really powerful Jewelers pick online for them there. Having that Torch available is huge, but I already kind of see a semblance of what RMIT's strategy here is to be the anti to stall the strategists. So, great to see that they're taking advantage of this right now. They've locked in Psylocke for themselves as well to really establish that flanking presence. But all in the same, there's no Lunar Snow on this one, so that means that there might be a little bit more of a lesser priority around the Meteors.
Yeah, less prior potentially towards the Magneto, and maybe, well, of course, you can already see RMIT all hovering the Captain America, so potential for a dive kind of centric comp out of RMIT here. Taking away the Jeff is a little bit of an interesting one. We've seen Rexy kind of float that one from time to time from QUT as well. I was going to say interesting lock onto the Psylocke and Mantis of all things here for RMIT. So yeah, definitely feel like the meta's kind of shaped, I guess, the priority for them as to what kind of composition they want to bring out.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I think that Mantis definitely is one of those strategists which does have a lot of strength. Like alongside some of your top picks there, you might often see Luna cloak, even if Luna's ult did get a little bit of a nerf. Like, yeah, it's still going to be priority, especially considering the impact it can make there. And one and the same, you know, the cloak going to be coming out, but the Magman coming through actually makes a bit of sense here as well. You know, they want to keep that prominence around their strategists, and particularly seeing the Punisher hovered there, it makes a lot of sense why they want to ban that out, because if you have a Magneto and the Punisher's using that final judgment there, if the Magneto is quick enough, they might just be able to pop the final judgment like a balloon. Goodbye. So great to see that they are taking away that possibility wholly and truly.
Yes, as well, I was going to say for QT, we'll see Prio as well towards some of the flyers here. Talisman, of course, with that torch lock that QT wanted to go for. So we'll be seeing Ultron follow suit here. No, I was going to say, of course, Iron Man ban here for either side. I was going to say Iron Man's probably not too much of a threat. I was going to say it's more the Ultron. It's more the fact that you can kind of play this triple strategist composition, and you know, Jay will be playing a little bit more damage centric with that Ultron, dishing out a ton of damage from the skies with Torch. And of course, Emma Frost for QT, kind of a strong frontliner, pretty good at absorbing a lot of hits here for the side of RMIT. They're just starting off with the portal here towards the point map.
Yeah, so this definitely plays into some of their normal play. They like to use the portal for a bit of early info straight into the penny mines there, and you see, it's worked out wonderfully. They've managed to get that early opening pick on a J there, so that's one strategist down, and out of 3 for that matter. And they can already look to just establish themselves with a solid position towards the mission area, right as it's about to unlock.
Yeah, taking a frontward position there. I was going to say as well, taking this fight against the likes of PUT. We'll see. Again, just playing this kind of corridor position. Jay will be able to find Air Ninja getting a little bit too aggressive, and it's going to be a second here from Jay, as now that gives opening for QT to walk it up with all the damage that's been dealt as well. OTR and the rest of RMIT need to fall back a little bit.
Yeah, agreed. They need to hold on to their ground here, fall back a little bit while still trying to maintain course over the mission area here. And they're doing a great job, you know, their vanguards are capping the mission area, but ultimately they are going to be going at the cost of their life there. So, good KO coming through, and does allow QUT to swing things in their favor nice and quickly. So, if they keep up like this, they should be able to equalize and exceed RMIT, but there's still opportunity for them to bounce back onto the point. I mean, they're all getting pretty close to their ultimates, so they might be able to light up the mission area like it's Christmas.
So, see them walk up, Air Ninja with the Venom, just trying to take some space back, especially with the shield that you can pop. Air Ninja can get a little bit further forward, and here we'll see Final Judgment coming out here from OTR. We'll be able to snipe onto Jay, take out Scammers on 2, some quick KOs from OTR. And of course, as well, the Meteor from Smiles to follow suit. It will take out Rexy. Clean ultimate usage here from RMIT, maybe a few too many, but they will be able to take back onto the point there with some beautiful picks from OTR.
Yeah, fantastic way to push their way through there, so they are going to be able to put themselves back on the board and see. They want to draw more from it, but QUT, they're holding from a distance right now. You know, they're preparing themselves to try and see if they can push in. They do have Psionic Seduction available now. Supernova pretty close by as well. So I sense the makings of a great counterattack pulling through here. They start to push up. Here we go, Tony. Feast of the Abyss is out. It's all happening for RMIT, but now QUT are online.
Yeah, and unfortunately there, that's it. The Butterfly don't really do it all too much. We'll see Supernova out here from Talisman. We'll see the Cloak and Dagger Eternal Bond coming through here just to get them space. Edsong Inferno there from Scamazon. Not quite finding its mark. The picks are going the way of RMIT still. They'll look to walk it up with the fact that all the ultimates are burned. This is free pickies now for RMIT. It's OTR with a quick KO there on the Scamazon. Air Ninja, Sedated just having to watch it all happen. But Smiles, Kyrie are able to find it. RMIT hold their ground after QUT took such an aggressive stance on that fight. Great disengage there from RMIT.
Yeah, one and the same. A great re-engage coming through from QUT, utilizing the portal there, already finding KeroKero and looking to catch some more. OTR, though, with the final judgment, might just be able to turn the tides in their favor. They have found a couple of KOs through, working together on this one. Seeing if they can find more from it. Smiles is out of here, though. They're having problems built up. OT timer so close to trickling down. They just need to keep it. Tap in the mission area here, but they have the eternal bond. Rexy might just be the factor they need to keep this one theirs. And there you have it. They've brought it back. But you know what else they've brought, Tony? Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was a quick change up there from Talisman on the Spider-Man as well. So he gets the butterfly immediately onto the point to try and keep them healthy. KeroKero will be able to snipe out Juicy with the help of Kyrie. So now RMIT, they give up the fight to QUT, but they're happy to take it back here. We'll see Beast of the Abyss come out. We'll see Smiles pick up a double KO here. Looking for a third with Kyrie. They're on to Scamazon. Take them out as well. Air Ninja will find that KO, and OT ticks down. QUT will fall in that first point to RMIT.
Don't you know it, Tony? So solid beginning there coming through from RMIT. They're already going to be up by 1 point into the Imperial Institute of Science. But now we're moving on. To see if there's going to be more from it. Ooh, you mentioned Iron Man before, Tony. Well, there it is. The Talisman has managed... I was joking. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. He thought about it. Yeah, we got pranked again. It's alright. I'm sure we'll see their YouTube channel come up by the end of the week. But we are going to be getting into this next one, Tony. We've got all Vanguards online. Everyone's feeling good at the moment, but there definitely are, a few hero changes. And now, with QUT changing things up, they got no ultimates online for this initial fight here. So RMIT are already at a stark advantage, having 3 in their arsenal.
Yeah, it's, I was going to say interesting. Talisman was playing that torch just previously, but now over to Juicy. Talisman will be on to the Captain America here, so looking to maybe take some more frontward presence. A backline dive, of course, potentially as well, with the fact that they do have the Ultron. And we'll just see Talisman walking up for free. Already Soul Resurgence popped by KeroKero early on. Kyrie able to find one. OTR as well, just blasting away with that shotgun, finding some KOs quickly. Insert coin as well in the mix. I was gonna say you love to see it on I was gonna say a cloak and dagger player like myself, Matt. You love to see them get aggressive with that front line.
That's it. Match the team's energy, utilizing the eternal bond there, and just giving it the best that they can. It's really great to see them, just taking their fight to the next level. But speaking of Venom, diving strike straight into it, already picks up Rexy there. Scamazon goes down as well. They've only got Ultron back. Good choke slam coming through. OTR going to be able to shut down the front of things as well, so it's all worked out perfectly. It's kind of like they've sandwiched the enemy in there, fighting from the front, fighting from the back there, and they get the job done, Tony.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and if you're just hanging out on this wall, this is like something you'd see in your ranked games, right? Just like that first time cheese, and then nobody falls for it again. But QUT not looking for it for the moment. And you can see Energy is just sitting there, sitting pretty, waiting for the chance to pounce. Of course, does have the Feast of the Abyss available. And we'll get the tendrils down to everybody here. We'll see Rage of Ultron, and we'll see as well the Psionic Seduction popped here for Donna's. Juicy was able to find it. The Eternal Bond and Soul Resurgence, everybody popping their ultimates right now. Meteor goes onto the point to snipe out Rexy. And RMIT, of course, all the ultimates were popped by QUT, but they didn't find any of the KOs.
Yeah, going to be unfortunate for them there. They're going to have to hold on a while longer. Speaking of, Kari already locked and loaded there. Finds the strategist. Goodbye to Scamazon. And maybe saying goodbye to Strange too. There we go, slicing into it. Working with their team for the triple KO there, as they flow together more and more. Feast of the Abyss already going to be back up. Soul Resurgence, one and the same. They do have BkWhatOCE available here for QUT. So if they portal up, maybe they can use that to get their way in and find a bit of presence. Here we go. They're jumping straight into it here. RMIT trying to hold back Tony, but they got to give it more than that. Here we go. Agamotto, the push though. They still managed to land something from it. KO is traded, and there's more to flow in.
And Final Judgment coming out into OTR will be able to find Talisman. That was a big eye of Agamotto, but of course didn't find the KOs necessary. OTR pulls down on the Juicy, looking for another here on the Donna's, quite low and spraying down. Damage coming out of OTR is too much for QUT to deal with. Kyrie to find the final KO, and that will be overtime ticked, and it's a 2-0 start for RMIT. They will take home Bernard T'Challa.
That they will, flying away through the stellar spaceport there. They are running to the stars, and that is going to be a great way to kick things off on Bernard T'Challa on domination. OTR on the MVP, very unsurprising there, you know, seeing that Punisher presence. It's always something you can rely on, you know, Old Faithful, so to speak. Even if the torch was allowed through for QUT there, RMIT navigated their own team composition with such grand confidence. You know, it was really difficult for QUT to try and deal with them in this one. So definitely going to have to reconsider, I suppose, how they approach the next draft phase to see what they'll allow through and what they might be able to take for themselves. You know, definitely a lot to take into consideration there, Tone.
Yeah, I was going to say, we spoke about Vanguards and Strategists being the kind of strong points from RMIT, but at least for me, I was going to say, I was kind of slouchy. OTR really performed well in that one. I was going to say Kyrie as well, with the Psylocke lock there early from RMIT, was able to abuse that one perfectly. And for the side of QUT, yeah, it's probably a callback to, you know, the priorities on the bans, but I was going to say, from what we've seen from OTR and Kyrie, they can play a lot of different things. So, you know, you may take away the torch, you may take away all the strategists from them, but like, they've got flexibility in the pool. Beautiful Punisher pick, of course, to really shut down that frontline presence. You know, having that Emma, having the Cloak and Dagger at their disposal. It kind of, I guess, to juxtapose it, right, we were expecting a lot of high prio towards the mag here for RMIT, and that's why it got banned out. But I was going to say, Punisher kind of does the same job that Mag does at blowing up those strategists when they're in their ultimates.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there. You know, being able to utilize the damage output from the Final Judgment there definitely could push you over the line, provided your team is able to focus with you and deal that extra little bit of damage there. And you can definitely see that potential coming down there. You know, you're able to nullify some of the backline presence from the strategist there and just whittle down the opposing team piece by piece. So, yeah, great to see that they took advantage of that one. Like, I think that, you know, between the seasons, the meta's in, I suppose, somewhat of a similar place. I think there's definitely room for more fun, flexible compositions there. Like, I think that, you know, we're definitely going to see a bit more magic, I'd say, coming into the mix there. We might see maybe a bit of Scarlet to play into that team up, but I don't know. I think that's going to be in some very niche situations. But, yeah, I'm excited for, I guess, some of the subtle changes that will come through with this season. As, yeah, we've got a lot to do to Midtown. Convoy map is locked and loaded, Tony, and we're going to Midtown. So, guess we're going to see Herbie.
Yeah, my good friend Herbie. I'd love to see him. I was going to say as well, drawing back onto, you know, the meta that we're seeing shape up here, even in this first game, you know, both teams still taking away Luna Snow. And I was going to say Luna Snow did get her numbers touched down quite a bit in the latest patch. So it's still just the ultimate alone, I was going to say, is such a threatening presence and such a, I was going to say, a momentum shifter. If you're able to get the Fate of both worlds up before the other side, it's a momentum shift that just kind of allows you to win the fight for free. So yeah, both teams definitely, I was going to say, don't want to play against the Luna Snow or like play around it, I guess. But yeah, I was going to say Torch, high priority here for QT, and it didn't really pay off this time around. Hopefully they'll adjust it a little bit. I was going to say Juicy kind of didn't get to have a go of it all too much. I was going to say RMIT just pulling out a lot of sneaky strategies that, you know, as we said, akin to rank and Ninja there up on the walls, just being such a sneaky venom. And QT, I was going to say, maybe just have to dial it in a little bit and kind of expect those ratty plays from RMIT.
Yeah, that's right. Like, they always are quite sneaky, aren't they? You know, they always seem to find a way to sneak through that early opening KO. And no matter how small it might seem on paper, it allows them to really make a big stand in the initial stages of the map. Like, taking that early percentage towards the mission area is just going to take you leaps and bounds, you know, and in the convoy sense coming up next, they could manage to get a decent amount of push in, towards that mission vehicle there. Just off only one opening pick there. So it really does go to show the impact what's ahead of us. But speaking of what's ahead of us, Tone, it is time for the next pick ban phase here. Time for the draft ahead.
Yeah, the draft ahead, and what do we see prior? ROIT, of course, this is a little bit of trolling, They hovered Cap last time. They're hovering Angela now this time. Luna Snow, immediate ban from RMIT. Torch taken away once again from QUT. But this time, RMIT, they'll get the first lock, and immediately straight back to the Psylocke. I was going to say, Kyrie played that one super well in that last game, so, nothing's really changing all too much in the early stages. Luna Snow, again, banned here for QUT. What do they lock first? It's going to be the Jeff, of all things, on Midtown. It's a little bit harder to play, there's not too many angles that you can really use those Jeff times, but I was going to say QUT maybe going to use that one more for a fight winner, more than we're going to take a few people off the map and really get the picks that way.
Yeah, and I guess with the Jeff being locked there is the potential for the Jeff Nado if one of their players, manages to pick up the Storm, for example. I think that definitely could be something which could help them to rip through some of RMIT's presence here. But speaking of presence, we are seeing a presence known. It's going to be a Torchbound out on both sides, Loki down, Mantis down. So just trading the strategists at this point, and really curious what's going to be left to kind of play around. It wouldn't surprise me if after all these bans, Tony, we could just see them jump onto maybe the Cloak, or maybe, dare I say, we could even see the Atom come out if we're lucky. I kind of like it when teams are able to adapt and play well around the Atom, because I feel like, albeit it's not the most prioritized strategist ultimate, but having that Karmic Revival available is just so huge when you can make it work. It's like seeing your whole team taken down, KO'd out, all 5 of your remaining team going, then you bring them back with a Karmic Revival if you're last standing. It's just crazy potential, Toad.
Yeah, Adam, and I was going to say, as we like to say, Matt, Adam is a duelist. It's official.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I always want to see Adam, of course, come into fruition, because, yeah, the momentum shift of, you've all of a sudden lost 5 members, Karmic Revival comes up, and then everybody's back like nothing ever happened. You quickly pop both of his heals, and everybody's back to full HP, basically. But we'll see final locks come through here. Both teams going to be prio towards the Magneto this time around. So I was going to say RMIT get to play with that one for a Midtown here. And as well, we're seeing a few interesting things. Kyrie thinking about the Angela Triple Vanguard going to be hovered here. Triple Vanguard strategist for RMIT is an interesting one.
Yeah, so RMIT tend to play into this kind of composition as well. You normally see something like this on the defensive side of things, but doesn't look like they're going to play into it this time. They're just giving us a little teasing there, Tone. What we are seeing, though, is triple strat locked in for them. So curious to see how they play things out here with this, whether they are going to be able to tap in, get that big potential. Oh, speaking of potential, Tone, now we're seeing Iron Man. This time it's real.
Yeah, not a scam this time. Comes on the Ultron as well. So QT going to be playing for the Skies a little bit more here. RMIT, of course, they're actually going to be rocking with the Ultron as well. It was taken away from them in that last map on Domination, so they'll get to rock with it this time. We'll see what OTR can dish out. I was going to say, interestingly enough, I believe last time we saw RMIT, OTR did perform pretty well on this Ultron, so eyes are on them as we'll see the initial fights here for the high ground take place. Of course, this is a very important area to control, right? It gives you a lot of control of the mission vehicle, but as well, it gives you a lot of control to kind of walk back and take space if you need to.
Yeah, great. Definitely allows you flexibility to walk back, take space, and see if you can clear things out. Just like what RMIT is able to achieve right now. They're already pouncing through the back line there. Scamazon's been taken down, and you can definitely see a bit more coming through as well, because Smiles just keeps bouncing around. They're so slippery, and they just can't land consistent hits onto them.
Yeah, it's interesting as well to see Smiles kind of dive on towards Talisman there, as we'll see early range of Ultron. Smiles getting on top of the Invisible Woman. Jay taken out, Rexy sniped by OTR. That will be first point done like that. RMIT just stagger out those KOs, able to find at least 2. Also Talisman back as well, and look how far forward they're going. Kyrie just looking to get up in the mix, maybe find a quick little assassination and then back out with the invisibility.
Yeah, just looking to tap and go there, Tone, and they are going to be to flow that mission of vehicle further and further forward here. Like QUT are forced into the choke point immediately, and RMIT are just continuing to consistently push ahead into this one. Curious to see who is going to be caught out next. You know, they're already halfway to this second checkpoint here. Agamotto comes out though, but they aren't able to find too much from it.
Yeah, nothing from it. Magneto Meteor M coming out there from Air Ninja. Doesn't quite find its mark either, so both teams trading ultimates there from their vanguards. We'll see OTR take to the skies, Soul Resurgence, Invisible Pulse Cannon from Talisman on top of Kero. So 1-for-1 once again in the ultimates. Eternal Bond here towards the back line. We'll see OTR pop the Rage of Ultron, try to find these picks, and that's a double KO. Looking towards the cart, back towards Herbie, and they'll find the vanguards just kind of lurking about, shielded up for the moment. And Juicy and Donnas will fall. It's a quad KO here for OTR.
That it is, Tony. Ultron powering on here. Rexy gonna get KO'd out as well. You can't afford to be losing team members like this because it's just allowing RMIT to continue pushing further and further. Like another one has been staggered out there. KO after KO coming in. Talisman so low as well, and RMIT are not letting up. They maintain the frontal pressure. They don't allow them to get anywhere near the mission vehicle. They're just being bullies at this point, Tony.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're watching your strategist just play the cart. You've got OTR walking up with Smiles and with Air Ninja. You'll see Smiles pop that Captain America ultimate on top of the Loki. Jay's like, oh my god, guys, get him off me. The KO's shortly to come here. Smiles will find a Rage of Ultron out of OTR to find Scammers on. Looking for more picks. That Meteor didn't find anything from Air Ninja, but we'll be able to find it with the rest of the squad all grouping around it. Juicy will fall to OTR. And RMIT looking extremely dominant on this push.
That they are, Tony, looking extremely dominant, and the best isn't yet to come, as they've got plenty of time and not that much distance to cover right now. Although QQT definitely can make a bit of a last stand here. 5 ults online. Now is the time. If there was ever a time, here we go. Ionic Seduction into Agamotto, into Ultron, into the Kraken Impact. It's all happening, but Soul Resurgence is keeping RMIT mostly online here. Yes, to the Butterfly, it could be something to come out of this, but they're holding firm on this one right now. Jay, utilizing their ult, is going to finally meet their demise as well. So, great to see QUT band together to get that control back, but RMIT now have the lead for ults. They have Eternal Bond and down to the Butterfly. That could be the final nails, Tony. I mean, look what else is close by.
Yeah, we've got Rage of Ultron, Meteor M, and still RMIT pushing, being a threat. We'll see Smiles once again towards the backline. I was going to say, for the side of QT, they kind of locked in that Loki to deal with Smiles on this Captain America. Will be able to be topped up there by OTR. Kyrie was found there in the process. Scammers on with a quick KO, so that sends RMIT packing for the little bit of time in the interim. And I was going to say, props to QT, especially Jay there, when he did swap over and take control of Rexy on the Invisible Woman. He got the boop there onto Kyrie, and they're shutting down this backline dive that Kyrie's trying to go for at the moment.
Yeah, trying to go for something more here, trying to give it their best. The Rage of Ultron in, it's the Bond coming out there. Visible Boundary as well as another piece of Rage, but Air Ninja is going to disengage Jay and trying to find Rexy as well. Moto coming out, only catching a couple there, but they do manage to get a KO from it. And for more Soul Resurgence online from Keto here. Amazon so close to the Kraken Impact, it could be exactly what they need. The timing couldn't be better, but here we go, jumping in, getting a bit of damage through there. No KO yet, but I'm sure they get close. No, not close at all. And at long last, they are going to be able to push it over the line. RMIT got 2 minutes 10 to go, so solid hold, but it's time, Tony, for QUT to take the driver's seat.
Yeah, they're going to have to lock in extremely hard right now. I was going to say RMIT, that was a dominant push. They lost a few minutes at the end there. They maybe got a little bit overzealous in terms of, you know, going for some of those picks. And as I said, a props to QUT dealing with Kyrie there, trying to dive the backline with the Stylock. But yeah, what do they opt to swap up here? Potentially thinking Prio towards the Emma. Talisman going to be going over towards the Winter Soldiers. So, you know, we have that Iron Man team up still available for both sides, I was going to say. But, you know, QUT didn't really pay off. Talisman didn't really have, I guess, the impact you would have wanted to see on that one. Props to RMIT. You know, I was going to say Air Ninja as well. It kind of all came to fruition there in that final engagement when Air Ninja was able to find some picks with that Meteor. You know, he was so close to it in those last few engagements. It didn't really matter because RMIT were already winning out the fight, but, you know, one good Meteor just to get some confidence for Air Ninja, and, you know, that could really show up big here for RMIT. But now, backside here for QUT, Matt, and you're going to be seeing a lot of, I guess, swapping up of who's playing what, but it's still kind of the same composition here for QUT.
Yeah, more or less the same. Oh my goodness, Tony! It's a portal dip coming out from RMIT there. Oh, Tony, they've done it again. Trapping them in their squad, wasting so much time there. RMIT are back up to their old tricks. Like, you know, if there's gods of mischief, they're it, Tony.
Yeah, especially Air Ninja, right? The Ratty plays on the Venom, the portals now with the Doctor Strange is absolutely insane to see. Especially here against, you know, as I said, a reputable opponent like QUT. They're no slouches. But RMIT just making them look like they're everyday ranked opponents at the moment. I was going to say we'll see them recover shortly as they'll try and push the mission vehicle here, but still, up in the front, Smiles taking a brunt of damage. Nobody there able to really top him up to full, and Donners will be able to find another. So, as we see a blunder from QUT, we'll see a good push now start to come through from them.
Yeah, they're now starting to get a bit of steam behind them here, starting to get a bit of traction rolling in. Bionic Seduction online as well. Oh, they've caught Ultron. Maybe not for long. They're trying to hide away. They will be able to take advantage. OTR pumping the damage into the backline there. Looking to show them who's boss. Invisible Boundary coming out as well. Looking for more. Chokeslam already taking Air Ninja out of the air. And Eternal Wand is going to try and keep RMIT on lock here. Delay things as long as they can. Rate of Ultron coming out. Scabbers on as well. They are just pumping out these ults right now, Tone. And we're not even close to done. Ghetto takes the floor.
Yeah, Sorrelson coming out of Karo. Smiles back to the cart and trying to stop this push from coming through. And as we'll see, Jay copy the Invisible Boundary. Smart call to make here for QUT. Saying everybody healthy. Eye of Agamotto was the backline trying to catch Karo, but dodges out that one. RMIT still are holding this cart. They still have control of it for the moment. The mission vehicle is theirs. Jay will be able to find the snipe onto Air Ninja, swapping up onto the Venom to try and stall. There's the Butterfly is available for Kyrie. I don't know if they'll pop it though. It's QUT. They still control the cart. Mission vehicle starts to push now here for QUT, and that turns to the Butterfly. Will do absolutely nothing. Unfortunately, Kyrie sniped out as well by Scammers on. This is great answers back here from QUT.
Fantastic answer coming back here. They've built up a lot more time, a lot more flexibility to play with here, Tone, and to see if they can zone something out of this one. Zone their way in, as there's so much more to do, but already pacing their way over to the halfway point here. RMIT just waiting patiently, holding it steady towards the next significant choke point. So it's going to allow a lot of distance to be covered, a lot of distance to be gained, and maybe not for too long. Freedom Charge coming in. Smiles barging over the top there. They don't care about the Psionic Seduction. They're going to be jumping on the mission vehicle, stopping them in their tracks, and now their team are popping up the KOs. They've stopped them and mopped them up, Tone. This is the kind of power you want to see to put a stop to a significant push of the mission vehicle.
Yeah, absolutely insane work there. I was going to say QUT, once again, Juicy's just kind of letting these psionic seductions fly. And I was going to say, you know, there's not really, I guess, the follow-up that he probably wants out of those ones, kind of using them a little bit earlier than the rest of you feel like, oh, he's got the ultimates, we need to get in the mix, we need to try and do something. But great answer back from RMIT. Smiles just being that frontline presence once again with the Captain America. We'll see Rage of Ultron with Smiles on the dive here. OTR just playing this skyline so well. Smiles bashing away there, slapping up Juicy, and it will be Donna's potentially to fall as well to Air Ninja. RMIT winning out another fight here towards the second point.
That it is. So they're not going to be able to get that vehicle moving again just yet. Going to have to hold on for a little bit longer here. And this is RMIT's primary objective, you know, just stall out as much time as possible. I love the angle that Smiles has here, taking the elevation. They can dive straight into the back line if the opportunity arises. And they don't even know. Like, look at this. Already jumping straight onto the strategist there, trying to charge ahead with a shield. They won't yield results. Oh my goodness. They're going to get taken out a little bit too overzealous there. This is an opportunity for QUT. Here we go, Tone.
Yeah, here we go. Invisible Boundary, Psionic Seduction, Air Ninja going for the Magneto, Meteor M, but will not be able to find anything. We'll be able to back Scammers on though. We'll see Endsong Inferno as well from Kyrie potentially to come out here on top of everybody from the side of QUT. And it's OTR once again finding these KOs, lighting up that feed. Insert coin as well with the Cloak and Dagger for good measure. Another minute gone for QUT, and yeah, these fights starting to look worrisome, Matt. QUT, you thought they had the upper hand. They popped the Invisible Boundary. They had the Psionic Seduction already online for Juicy, and they did get some high-prio targets, but just the fact that RMIT, Air Ninja, Smiles, they don't really care about that. They'll just walk up and take the fight regardless.
That's right, looking to walk it up and looking to lock it in. Rage of Ultron pumping down the local clones there, so not going to be able to maintain that healing in that area, but now getting a little bit closer and closer to the mission vehicle. Rage of Ultron coming out from Scammers on immediate shutdown there. Air Ninja good for a J falling as well, leaving only Rexy to be the strategist up, but they almost come down. So RMIT getting high priority targets at this point in the game. Already fighting even more. The stagger between these KOs is tremendous, Tony. QUT might only have one more fight in this one.
Yeah, they can't even, I guess, portal towards the mission vehicle. They kind of just have to walk it out of their spawn, and you can see Air Ninja just putting the pressure on. They will be actually able to get on towards the mission vehicle with the portal, so won't be shut down there. Freedom Charge, Magneto, Meteor M coming out here from Air Ninja, and this needs to find a target. It needs to find it big. Rexy taken out. Kyrie will be able to find another here. Hensong Inferno finds Talisman, and that is RMIT winning out the fight. The KOs once again. Kero getting involved. Air Ninja, Rage of Ultron, everything RMIT, and it will be QUT. So back in a spawn once again, and that is the game, Matt. RMIT with a dominance here on Midtown that we haven't seen.
It shows they knew what was at stake here, Tony. They knew they had to lock the heck in, and they did just that. Air Ninja on the MVP. Very well deserved there. Some of those dunks were just so impressive, weren't they? And there's going to be more where that came from, Tony. But that is going to be that for the series. RMIT take it away 2-0 in their favor. Big victory from them. And let's take a look at these stats right now, Tone.
Yeah, looking at the stats, it's 40k blocked by both Air Ninja and Donnas, and I was gonna say Smiles as well, 27-5 on the cap, not too bad. Kyrie, of course, playing a little bit more of the supportive duelist, because OTR, once again, a massive game. 41 elims on the Ultron, just getting involved in every single fight. And, you know, I was going to say, props to QUT. They've showed a little bit of adaptation there. We saw Jay swap to the Loki, try to deal with the Cap, try to deal with Kyrie on the Psylocke, and that's why it actually forced Kyrie off of the Psylocke onto a little bit more of a, I guess, as we said, supportive duelist, a little bit more AoE and a little bit more towards the backline, as opposed to how Kyrie's been playing, you know. It's been him, Air Ninja, Smiles, or Smiles, Air Ninja, and OTR all up in the front, very dive heavy. But yeah, I was going to say, RMIT, this is some scary stats to look at as well. I was going to say, checking out the damage numbers as well. And Ninja with 21k, well deserved of an MVP.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more there, Tony. You know, definitely locking in, getting 16 final hits as well, the most in the server, with OTR only close behind on 15 there. So definitely a consistent factor against the majority of members on their side. Obviously, QUT finding their fair share of struggles into this one. You know, they tried to make things work. It just didn't go the way that they had it planned there. And RMIT are going to be able to reap the rewards. So definitely a solid position that they've been placed into that one. And it's back to the drawing board, I suppose, for QUT here. And definitely interested to see how things will go. But, you know, once again, Tony, we want to say a big shout out to Smiles. Happy birthday, Smiles. Once again, what a great present.
He's got to be 90 at this stage. He's having a birthday every other day, every other match day. Yeah, I was going to say Smiles maybe getting old at this stage, but happy birthday to Smiles. Of course, who doesn't love a birthday victory? ROIT, of course, booking their seed into the playoffs. I was going to say, as we said, you know, at the start of the day, you know, whoever won this books their seed in the playoffs. So RMIT securing their spot. QT, of course, pending a few different things, could potentially get in the playoffs, but, you know, that's a lot of math and a lot of working out behind the scenes that, of course, will happen as the day progresses. But RMIT, if this is the form they're showing, they look to be, I guess, a force going into the playoffs. I was going to say, at the start of the day, RMIT, you know, as we said, one of those teams that's been very hot and cold, but they've kind of dialed it in these last 2 weeks and getting the wins where they needed most.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Tony. I feel like this is their time to shine, and they are proving themselves here. You know, the new patch seems to make them shine so brightly. Like, you thought that there was Captain America nerfs into Season 4? Well, Smile says, what nerfs? It's just another day in the office. And they're just styling on it as per usual. So, great to see how they played it through with that one there, Tony. And very interested with what else is going to be on a board here. And, you know, looking further beyond the horizon, I'm kind of curious to see if the landscape will change and how it might change. Heading towards Season 4.5 in, I think, a month's time or something like that. Just under a month's time. So it's great to see the, I guess, speed and consistency of the various patches.
Yeah, it's very quick, you know, but behind the scenes for the NetEase team. And yeah, I was going to say, well, I believe get to see Daredevil as well in that 4.5 patch. So yeah, it should be fun to see that one. And where I guess he kind of makes his mark in terms of the compositions here, because, you know, nothing's changed. Yeah, even with Angela's addition, you know, Captain America, as he said, got nerfed and Smile still played it to a treat. Luna Snow, we didn't get to see it all this entire best of 3. So yeah, I was going to say a lot of interesting things and great adaptations there from RMIT to get the victory in.
That's it. Fantastic stuff coming through. There's going to be more stuff on its way, though. We are going to head to a short little break while we get all that set up for you. And we'll see you very, very soon. Don't go anywhere. welcome back, everybody, to the AEL University Elite Series here with Matsy, TwoTapTony, and none other than Smiles!
Oh, missed you guys. Good to be back.
Great to have you. What a win. What a win, I gotta say.
Indeed.
Just, like, you guys took it to a whole other level, and big props to you, first and foremost. But I guess jumping into some specific moments, which I feel like were highlights to me. How did you feel when you just charged straight into, like, their whole front line? I saw, like, they brought out, like, all their ults, and then you just popped Freedom Charge and just barged in and just completely wiped them. Like, what was going on there?
We had the Ultron cap dive pretty much on lock. There was one team fight where I got counted in, and the Emma silenced the cap ult, so I just blew up. That was not a good fight, but other than that, the Ultron cap, I feel so safe diving in with an Ultron right behind me, and it's just, like, free to clean up. There's a big, bulky American man standing in your face. It's really hard to shoot the flying Ultron beaming you down.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say a very much a presence there on the cap, but as well, I was gonna say you guys brought a lot of I guess kind of really interesting plays. You saw Air Ninja on the Venom do a lot of ratty things there on Domination. So what was the coordination like there?
It was a bit of the same, but with the other dive tank, which was really fun. We got to run both styles of the comp this time. Put in mag jail for that, so a lot more passive gameplay from my end, but our dives were pretty much very coherent, and we were very succinct on getting onto the right target and just kind of making them disappear to then make a fight collapse in from there.
No, that's great to hear. You know, you guys are making it work, and it's working so great, just like your cheeky Portal. You know,
Yeah.
Bit of an adventure
I saw
there.
him swap the Strange, and he said, "Guys, trust me," and that's a horrible start to any sentence. But it worked out really, really well for us, so I'll take it.
Yeah, just sources, trust me, bro. Love it. But I guess, you know, first and foremost, or last but not least, even, congratulations to you and the team on making playoffs. Like, is there anything, you know, you guys are thinking or feeling with regards to that?
We're very excited. We're very glad to make it back for a second round of playoffs. The teams are a lot tougher this time round, with a lot more standouts and a lot of very strong refreshes from all the different unis. So in order to make it this far again is really nice and fulfilling to see that we're still strong. We're still holding our ground amongst these good players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you know, it's a challenge for a lot of teams, you know, even if things don't go well or so well the first time round, it's a challenge to stick together and get through the hard times. But now I think you guys have definitely put yourselves in to the good times and, you know, definitely make the most of it. You know, there's onwards and upwards from here. But yeah, once again, congratulations to you and the team for making it. Big happy birthday once again, you know, your 100th birthday.
It's still not my birthday. It's still not my birthday. How does this bit live on in perpetuity?
Hey, you be careful. Next time there's an interview, I'll get our producer to put a birthday cap on you.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right. No, thanks for coming on, Smiles. It's been a treat as always.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Gotcha.
There you go, Tony. Always great to have Smiles on board. You know, good vibes all around. And yeah, it's just great to see how things are going there. They've made it. But, you know, there's always other teams that we have to take a look at and to see who could be next to make it. Let's get straight into UNSW and Macquarie. So, to pop out the rosters here, it's Frost, Runk, Lick, Yuang the One, Nova, and Muffin. Macquarie gonna be Tashi, Accelerate, Crescent, Delulu, Nascent, and Botfrag.
Yeah, this is I was gonna say an interesting one on paper, right? UNSW kind of the heavy favorites to win it out overall, but I was gonna say Macquarie, you've got some very scary players on that roster. Tashi has been quite a standout player here for Macquarie Accelerate as well. Even Botfrag, I was gonna say some of the meteors that Botfrag's been kind of landing here for this Macquarie side have been absolutely game defining, and I was gonna say they're gonna need everything on lock to take on UNSW this evening, because they've looked from strength to strength. I was going to say all of their players, just you look at that roster, right? Nuva, Lick as well. I was going to say in some of those strategist picks that he's been playing have been absolutely stunning, to say the least. And Matt, I guess we're going back to Burn T'Challa once again. Feels fitting to start it off.
We're back. We're so back. We love to see a bit of Burn T'Challa there. Always great to get on board with that one. And we're getting straight on board into the pick ban phase here. Let's take a look at what they are going to be chopping away. Is it going to be the Torch again? Is it going to be a strategist? It's going to be both.
Ooh, Jeff.
My goodness.
Prior towards the Jeff. That's a interesting one. Out of the likes of Macquarie and of course UNSW, they're feeling like, yeah, Torch, a little bit of an issue. We're not going to allow Accelerate on that one. Lunar Snow is a prio this time here for UNSW, and I can't really blame them, right? You know, their strategist, I believe it's Runk that's been playing the Luna quite convincingly, so you know, allowing Runk to play that one, I believe as well. Frost can play it too if necessary, but yeah, Lunar Snow locks for both sides, so it feels like a different prio than our last series overall, man.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a little bit of different presence there, different priorities, you know. Particularly the Jeff ban coming out doesn't surprise me, because Runk Labonting, or Runk in this one, is going to be really strong on the Jeff. Like, they're definitely one of the better players I've seen take advantage of it, you know. Definitely an inspirational player coming through. But we are seeing Mantis taken away and taken into play by UNSW there. So, it's like Ultron going to be banned out by Macquarie, and just an interesting split focus, I suppose, on all the different strategists. Like, it just seems like a very strategist-centric meta here, Tony.
Ooh, okay. And there's an interesting thing, you know, you speak about strategist-heavy meta, the lock into the ban into the lock for a few of those picks there. So Luna's both going to be online, but Mantis here for the side of Macquarie. And for UNSW, they're looking towards the Ultron, and well, it feels like the same kind of composition UNSW are going for that we saw from RMIT. It's lead from the front, allow Lick, I was going to say on the duelist this time around, the Black Panther or the Magic to dive with the Ultron. You've got Muffin shielding your backline. As well, you've got Frost in the mix that can also get up in there. So some interesting team building here from the side of UNSW as looking to, I was going to say, play a little bit more pseudo dive comp that we saw out of RMIT. We've seen from a few of these other rosters. But as well, Matt, we get to talk about it for a second. Tashi swaps back to Spider-Man. I was going to say the potential of the Strange team up for both sides. And of course, Lick, Muffin going to be bringing that one in.
Yeah, great to see that they are looking to adapt around this, you know, playing into some different kinds of compositions here today, and I'm excited to see where they take this one. You know, I saw Tashi hover the Spider-Man for a second, thinking maybe we changed regions there, but no. They are going to lock in on the Magic into a bit of the team up there, so really keen to see both of the teams, for that matter, use the team up. And look at this, informational play on the Strange once again. Just love the early intelligence you can gain here. Now, taking a delayed approach in the portal as well. And they're already not looking to commit to it. You know, they're just taking it easy for the moment. I respect it.
Yeah, I feel like there was maybe just like a little bit of a missed timing there. UNSW were able to walk it up. I was going to say their backline, I believe Muffin was a little bit late, so they couldn't really pick off a squishy target there. As we'll see, fight already break out. Frost quite low, Tashi dashing away and trying to get some damage out there with the blades there, trying to snipe it out, Nuva in air, but of course you can see UNSW still putting their best foot forward, kind of eating all that damage and a lot of fight, and Presence going their way. I was going to say some great picks already to find those KOs, and UNSW will be able to start capturing the point here. Frost still being an absolute menace here on the Hulk, playing it like a pseudo Captain America in a way, just diving and then just shielding, walking away, and that will be UNSW winning out that fight and cap it up.
Yeah, looking to cap it up and looking to bring out the Rage of Ultron with the Hulk smash there. They are just dealing damage. And a ton of it. Tashi, last player standing, and they will fall. So, Big KOs coming through from Macquarie there, passing the halfway point and are looking to give it much more here. They've still got the Invisible Boundary and Darkchild available in a second as well. Like, Macquarie are doing a pretty good job of managing their ultimates, honestly, but one of the same, UNSW have got a few tools at their disposal into this one and might just be able to propose a counterattack here. And there's that chain that we were talking about before, that team-up coming out from Magic and Strange, chaining players together.
Yeah, chaining it together. You can see the dash is chaining here. As we'll quickly get a technical pause, I believe there is. Just a quick issue, that's all right. But yeah, UNSW, you know, we alluded to the Strange and Magic team-up, and we wanted to see it from our last game. You know, just unfortunately, I guess the players for both sides didn't really want to bring that one to issue. I was going to say maybe not too many Magic players in the roster, but I definitely feel like a lot of practice will be held towards that character going into especially playoffs now that, of course, that team up has come to fruition and we'll see a little bit more of teams understand it. But yeah, UNSW, this is just a front-facing kind of Muffin and Lick just getting up in the mix. Frost as well, just throwing haymakers. Runk and Yueng the One just untouched in that backline because Nova as well from the skies is dishing out so much damage as we've seen these Ultrons do, and it feels good to be a strategist in a composition like this, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the place where, you know, your strategists will thrive, and really keen to see how much more they're able to do, you know, how well they're going to be able to perform. Like, seeing some of the plays that these Ultrons have been able to achieve is just next level, isn't it? And definitely excited for more where that came from, Tony. And it definitely leaves some good room for more than just that, you know. It leaves room for some of the nullification tactics. You think back to like the Lunar Snow, bringing out the freeze there, just keeping some of their opponents in place with that one. There's definitely a good little bits of momentum that you can capitalize upon with something like that there, Tone. But curious if UNSW is going to be able to find a way to adapt around this, because at the moment they're placed into that uncomfortable position. You know, it feels like they haven't really been able to get things grooving the way that they would like here, and it's a bit strugglesome for them. But I'm hopeful that they can maybe change things up, find a way back into this and get some percentage on the board, because otherwise we could see this first point of contention disappear before we even know what to do.
Yeah, it's not looking good to kick it off here for the side of Macquarie. UNSW, this is I guess expected of the top of the table, right? UNSW are one of those teams that has been playing super well all across the board, right? You know, we speak about Yueng the One, we speak about Muffin, we speak about Nuva, Lick, Frost, Runk. It's just everybody on this roster as well being able to play a lot of different things. Sometimes we'll see Yueng on the duelist, sometimes we'll see Lick on that strategist role, playing the Mantises, playing the Lokis super well. And then, of course, Frost as well, as I said, one of those guys that can also flex on the strategist. So just a lot of team diversity here that allows for some of these like really good opposition, like compositions to come out, right? You've got a little bit of the same kind of pseudo dive comp with that Ultron. Triple strategist, of course, is pretty prominent in the meta. I was going to say, as we saw a lot of the bans drawn towards that. So I was going to say, I feel like there's only so many strategists you can ban, but there's still so many available. And I guess to credit UNSW, they can play them all, right?
Absolutely. You got to be able to play them all, because otherwise you're just going to fall. You know, you're not going to be able to adapt around the meta. You have to be able to play them all at this point in time, because like you've seen from some of the multitude of drafts that we've witnessed, you know, a lot of those strategists are just getting banned out. Even something like the Jeff now is finding priority against some rosters there. You know, never did I think I'd see the day where Jeff was the priority over something else. Like, it's just insane to think about that, Tony. And I'm kind of curious to see how things evolve, you know, when I suppose more new heroes get added to the roster, you know, like Daredevil. I'm curious if that's going to allow maybe an even grander shift, or whether they might change up some of the team ups coming into the Season 4.5 there, or even heading towards Season 5 whenever we get there. Probably towards the end of the year or something, you know. Definitely curious, I suppose, what they might be able to do there. Yeah, what they might be able to achieve out of that. Thinking more broadly, Tony.
Yeah.
Do you reckon? Because I've heard on the rumor mill that there might be some Marvel Zombies costumes, perhaps.
Ooh.
But do you think they might play into like a bit of a Halloween themed team up for season 4.5?
They definitely could. I feel like there's a lot of themes they could go around, but as you alluded to, I was going to say a lot of different thematics here within the Marvel universe as a whole. So it's they've got a lot to play with as we'll go back into it, and already double there for the likes of Lick as we conclude that fight there. And I was going to say, I believe Runt was thinking about the invisible boundary for a second, but UNSW, they're not thinking about the thematics right now. Darkchild already coming out here from Lick. It is the Magneto Meteor M out of Accelerate, trying to find something. Tashi comes out as well with the Star-Lord, but Lick still, Darkchild online and still doing so much work here to stop Macquarie from walking any bit forward. And will be the Institute of Science taken by UNSW.
That's it. Gonna be taking it away there. So really impressed with how they've been able to hold things down here. Mr. TwoTapTony, but very keen, very curious what else we are gonna have on the table here. There's a little bit of time for the teams to prep themselves, and very curious to see how UNSW and Macquarie will fare into this one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll see Tashi over the Star-Lord, and essentially will be over to the Winter Soldiers. So yeah, I was going to say definitely having a for the side of UNSW, but of course as we go back into it as well, UNSW have a ton of ultimates still online as well. I was going to say Invisible Boundaries up still, Fate of Both Worlds, Rage of Ultron still here for Nuva. So this is going to be Macquarie having to expend their ultimates and use them very sparingly in some of these fights. But Rage of Ultron already coming out of here, Matt.
Yeah, already coming out of here. Going to be pumping things up and looking to lock things down. Ooh, there could be more where that came from. Perhaps a Galactic Legend online or something else for that matter. But Fate of Both Worlds. There we go. Galactic Legend is online, and they're already looking to trickle through the damage, but they're being faced with a lot of barricades, and it's not allowing Tashi to really get any value there. The value will be found, however, from Psionic Seduction, and maybe Holger Smash if they're lucky, or perhaps the World Breaker, should I say. But no, their world's going to be broken as they've gone down the falls.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. I was going to say the timing of that one, getting out of the Hulk ultimate, and unfortunately, as they were going for the jump, Frost will be falling down the waterfall, but still somehow UNSW were able to cap in the meantime. We'll see Eye of Agamotto being thought about here by Muffin, but of course Tashi and Nesently will be coming through with these duelists. A Rage of Ultron once again, Eye of Agamotto on towards the pillar, doesn't really hit anyone because of course the terrain blocks for Macquarie. We'll see the KOs go the likes of Macquarie as well. Nesently not able to get the resets, but still KOs coming through. And they'll send Frost packing. UNSW will be losing out that fight, so Macquarie are able to get some percentage going for themselves.
Yeah, good start there. Able to build up a little foundation here, and might even be able to take it one step deeper as well. Got a couple of ults online for their strategists here, and they've also found the opening KO on the right there. So definitely going to be feeling good about that one, Tone. See if they can zone something more out of this one, or whatever else they may be able to achieve here as look to heave their way in. Lick. No, they are activating the Darkchild. There we go. They can jump straight into the back line, chopping their way in. Eternal Bond going to be coming online in response there, trying their best to do what they can into this one. No further ultimates been broken out. Well, until now, Galactic Legend finds you in the one there, looking for strategists. Say goodnight. They will. Every single one. A quad KO coming out here for Tashi, looking for the Penta. They're not going to get it, though. Love the discipline there. That takes them leaps and bounds ahead.
Yeah, that one's going to be stolen by Accelerate, but I was going to say as well, interestingly enough, I have to give credit to Tashi, right? Sometimes on the Star-Lord, he weaves that Galactic Legend so well, he's able to just kind of duck and then dive up on top of a target, and, you know, a strategist who feels like they're safe, right? They're standing behind their Hulk, and all of a sudden Tashi just kind of 100-0 them with the Galactic Legend. We'll see Ultimate Pops, Rage of Ultron come out here, Visible Boundary as well from the side of UNSW, but everybody's staying healthy on top of the Fate of both worlds. We'll see Accelerate with the Meteor, try to slam up in the air, Nova taken out. BkWhatOCE comes out from Muffin to try and stall his point for a little bit longer, because overtime is now ticking, and Macquarie are looking like they're winning this fight out. Still, the KOs are going. Lick will be able to find Crescently, and will be able to find another. Accelerate looking for something to try and stall his point out, but has been grabbed up by Frost and slammed to the ground. UNSW able to cap the point at the final mark there.
That's it. Mission area under control. They stroll ahead of it. They do have a couple things to look forward to. First being the fate of both worlds, if required, and the second would be Darkchild here. Lick is able to build up their damage a little bit more into this one, but still going to be more where that came from as they slowly, carefully creep their way up towards the mission area. The damage already pumping up here, but the chains are locked in. They can't run too far. They could get caught here, and here comes Darkchild.
Oh, and a beautiful snipe there. Right click from Lick. Able to find Nash Sentinel there in the backside of things. Darkchild still present. Still looking for that little bit more. Yuang the one as well with the fate of both worlds, keeping everybody healthy. There goes Lick once again towards that backline, but great snipe from Crescently. Frost is able to find it. Galactic Legend online here for Tashi, but there is so many players up here for UNSW who might look to stall it out, walk back to the safety of his teammates, because of course the point and the fight has been won out here for UNSW. Frost just still being a menace here on the whole. He'll be able to walk back here. I was going to say, Rump is there with him. Very interesting push forward there from UNSW.
Yeah, really interesting to see their breath. Oh, denial of the Galactic Legend. That is going to be what breaks the game in for ya. But T'Challa is going to be claimed by UNSW there. Warrior Falls is all theirs, and they take it for their own. So the Galactic Legend definitely could have been the difference maker, but alas, it just ain't gonna happen, Toad. Frost's gonna be the MVP on that one. Definitely felt their presence, you know, felt them activate time and time again onto that Vanguard, and they are doing such a great job, them and there for their team. But speaking of doing a great job, Toad, Tashi, 10 final hits out of 12 KOs. That's the most in the server. That is crazy.
That's the Star-Lord presence, right? You get, I guess you get all the final hits when you pop that Galactic Legend, because you just 100-0 targets so quickly with all the upfront damage from the rest of Macquarie. So who knows? Maybe some final hit stealing here from Tashi, but of course the stats look good for him. I was gonna say, definitely felt the presence once the Star-Lord came out. I feel like the magic was a little bit of a miss from him. It didn't really have the composition around it. So Macquarie, of course, they were able to shake things up, but it didn't really pay off. UNSW, Frost as well, as we saw, MVP performance there on the Hulk, but everybody really from UNSW kind of pulling their weight. Muffin with a great stall. Lick, you saw in that fight with the Darkchild, able to cap the point back when UNSW were losing that one to Macquarie there on Warriors Falls. And of course, Nova, Yuang the one, Runk, doing what strategists do best, keeping everybody healthy, keeping everybody online, and of course Nova dishing out 11k damage. It's great to see 11k healing as well, so very even in terms of the damage to healing numbers. Normally you see some of those Ultrons a little bit more favored to one side, but Nuva a little bit more of a balanced Ultron player.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more there, Tony. Definitely a bit more of a balanced equation for that one, but they are certainly going to be happy with how things played out into this one. You know, definitely feeling the confidence and feeling the presence coming through from all of our players here. And very eager to see what might change heading into the next one. You know, will we see an adaptation come around those picks and bans there? Will there be something else entirely coming into the mix? You know, are we going to see that triple Vanguard, triple strategist setup come out for some of these teams. Like, there's a lot of possibilities there, Tony, especially jumping in towards the convoy section.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess to speak about our last series, right? It was RMIT showing adaptation there on the convoy, on the Midtown pick of themselves. And for Macquarie, I guess we need to see that, right? You know, it's a lot of players kind of just funneled into the one roles, right? Your strategist can really, I guess, only play the strategist from what we've seen. Duluwu and Crescently do have a lot of strategists at their disposal, right? The Loki is available, of course, was banned by UNSW, so they showed that one some respect in that last one. But yeah, we need to see a little bit more, I guess, team cohesion out of the side of Macquarie. They started with it. They showed us that they were like, all right, yeah, we're happy to play into the Magic Strange team up, and it didn't quite pay off. I was going to say as well from UNSW, showing they've been putting in the hours, right? Lick, I believe there was one chain as well to really start that fight off when UNSW were going for the recap there on Warriors Falls. So, and I feel like we need to see a little bit more cohesion out of Macquarie, maybe some different priors as well in the picks and bans. I was going to say, allowing a lot of very high prior picks, Muffin as well, in that Strange. I feel like we saw a lot of teams kind of ban that one out against the side of UNSW, so maybe Macquarie look to go that way.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't surprise me there, Tony. You know, they can play into their strength. They have really looked to activate themselves coming in to the next section on Convoy, Tony. And I think we're going somewhere similar. Somewhere we might have been before. Where could we be going, Tony? It's looking a little mid.
It's looking
in town.
It's looking a little mid in town. Is it back to Herbie? We're gonna see Herbie once again.
Yeah, Herbie Reloaded. That's it, Tony.
Absolutely, we're back.
So back. Love to see it. Very keen to get into this convoy section here, Tony. You know, it's going to be fun times ahead all round with Herbie and co. And you know, why can't we get some map 3s? Why can't we get some Central Park love? You know, I want to see Ratatosca coming out.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen Central Park in a while. I was going to say a lot of these teams just a little bit extra dominant this evening, and well, I was going to say looking like the team to beat, especially UNSW. The way they play that 2-0, of course, have to give credit to Macquarie. They did give them a run for the money on Warriors Falls, as we said, but UNSW showing some resilience, and we might see some different things here for them. Already prior banned Torch, Luna Lock, and, Jeff once again getting taken away by Macquarie.
That they will be. They do not want to see Runk's aura exuding from that Jeff play, so not going to have that one seeing the light of day. One of the same. You won't be seeing Torch. What you might be seeing is, once again, Starlord. But Jeff is gone again on both sides, Tony. They do not want to deal with that, but they are going to deal with Lunas.
Yeah. Both teams with the Fate of Both Worlds available for Midtown here. Psylocke, interestingly, being taken away. I was going to say, UNSW, I think as well, one of those teams that kind of plays Psylocke pretty well, so a smart call from Macquarie. We could also see as well the play into the Storm a little bit. Tashi is hovering that one. Of course, the Jeff did get taken away, the Star-Lord getting taken away, so Tashi drawing some bans here with the team up end as well, the Star-Lord getting taken away. That's going to hurt a little bit. I was going to say UNSW showing that, Tashi's the threat to them.
And, you know, we definitely felt it, especially into that first map there. Tashi was keeping them online, like bringing out those Galactic Legends. It was just crazy to see how far they were able to take it. But, you know, just because you ban out one of their priority heroes doesn't mean they don't have more at their disposal. Very curious what their last pick might be. It is Magneto, and one of the same. UNSW don't have access to Magneto, so that could come back to hurt them, you know, especially considering both teams have access to that Lunar Snow. But in saying that, Torch is open. Ooh, Moon Knight. Okay, I see you. Storm going to be hovered as well. Squirrel Girl hover?
Ooh.
Wow, they're really looking to take advantage of this composition here, Tony, and there's no way they lock in with this. No way. Right?
It's an interesting one. I don't think this is the, I guess, the greatest competition.
Not
It's not the comp, but it could be a comp here for the side of Macquarie. I feel like Moon Knight's not bad, especially on Midtown where it's a little bit more choke-centric. It's a lot more alleyway fights that happen, and Moon Knight could look to get a lot of priority out here. Bot frag for the Angela, potentially?
My goodness. No, it won't happen, Tony. There's no way they solo strategist, right?
No.
Right. Exactly right.
Exactly right.
They're getting a second strategist, but they're keeping Angela. So this is a composition I actually... Well, not even gonna...
Never mind.
What I was gonna say is I would have loved to see a Squirrel and Angela in practice, because you can trap them in the Squirrel Girl trap, right? Then you can just send them away with the Angela. Maybe catch them with something else as well. It sounds great, but we won't see it. Not today. What we will see is the UNSW show already starting off well.
Yeah, triple strategist, triple vanguard. Muffin, Yuang the long end as well. Frost going to be on the cap. So I was going to say you got Lick Run, Nova holding it down with the heals. And a little bit of chunking there onto Muffin, so they need to back up for a little bit. They have to be careful. There's the Khonshu coming out from Accelerate. We'll be able to find Rump there. Lick was able to live for the meantime, but of course trade KOs here going out for both sides. Tashi still ruling the skies here, trying to find Nova as well on the Rage of Ultron, but he's keeping everybody healthy for the moment. Will break the arm. And Yuang the one did get frozen up there on the mission vehicle. Lick taken out. So Macquarie are staggering out these KOs, and well, they'll finally win out this fight, Matt. It was a little bit weird for a second there. That Rage of Ultron just allowed UNSW to stall for a little bit longer, but Macquarie, they'll get control of the mission vehicle and they'll start to push.
That they will, Tony. They will be able to start their push, start their pursuit into this one, and see if they can capture. Ooh, something more. It's portal time coming out. Omega Hurricane going to be online as well. Eternal Bond coming into this one with the Meteor, with the everything. Strangling Prison jumping out as well. Nobody going to be KO'd out as yet. Agamotto coming through though. Fate of Both Worlds, one in the same. Freedom Charge and another Fate of Both Worlds. So everything is popping right now, Tony. We could see some more ults popping if this fight's drawn out, just like the hand of Khonshu. Accelerate has that online now. Definitely seek to activate, but there's no time to do it. The rest of their team is starting to get wiped out. They do have a big presence being established here for UNSW. They do have now, as a result, the Rage of Ultron available pretty close to the Strangling Prison there, but they have to be really careful about Accelerate here.
Yeah, they really do. Khonshu is available, and well, especially with the fact that UNSW are playing up in this high ground choke, might want to be a little bit careful. And there's the Khonshu. Everybody walks away from it. A happy man, and Accelerate's not going to be too happy about that one, taken out, KO'd there in the process. We'll see. Botfrag try to walk up there with the Magneto, but he's set back, and all of these Vanguards just slapping away down on the damage. He's going to be Strangling Prison from Muffin, able to find 2 KOs there with the help of Lick, sniping from the back line, and everybody here from UNSW will clean sweep that fight and they'll walk away scot-free.
Yeah, walk away scot-free, and see if they can feel the wrath of the goddess. Unbeatable Squirrel Stampede coming out, as well as the Eye of Agamotto and the Eternal Bond, Rage of Ultron. It's all happening right now, Tony. And UNSW are zoning them out once again. Immediate adaptation coming through from them and their squadron there. And that is just going to relegate Macquarie to their spawn.
Yeah, 30 seconds left to make a move, Macquarie. I have to give credit to Nuva once again. I was going to say, on this Ultron, just maneuvering against Tashi on this Storm. I was going to say, Tashi's one of those guys that can play a lot of the more flyer-centric characters. They won't allow the Torch, they won't allow the Star-Lord, and they'll allow him onto the Storm. And Nuva, I was going to say, is just been maneuvering around that one super well. Magneto, Meteor M coming out from Botfrag as well with the Eye of Agamotto, and Botfrag, unfortunate miss there. Freedom Charge comes out from Frost, and now we'll see UNSW take back onto the point. We'll see Eye of Agamotto, we'll see Rage of Ultron, and there goes Tashi. Fighting these KOs, Muffin up in the mix, and Strangling Prison coming through here from Muffin. The Rage of Ultron will finally tick down, but these low HP bars are still an ever-looming issue here for Macquarie, and they will get clean sweeps once again. Overtime will tick, and Macquarie, they are scattered to the point they will pull out Tashi onto the Spider-Man just to stall for a little bit longer, but UNSW, they stop them at 93 meters.
My gosh. There's not push there, Tony, is it? They breathe on the mission vehicle. And they could be able to push that one over the line, Tony. So, wow. That is just crazy to see. And I'm curious what kind of composition they're looking to bring out now as a result. You know, are they actually finally going to bring out the Angela, or are they going to tease us like all the teams have been doing tonight? Like, what's the go with them here? I'm super down for whatever they're cooking up.
Yeah, both teams kind of chopping it up a little bit. We'll see Frost, potentially Angela. Yuwang, the one going to be on the Black Panther. Lick, I was going to say, gets to go back to his tried trusted Loki. We've seen Lick do quite well on that character, and that's why it drew a ban from Macquarie in that last one. But yeah, we'll see triple Vanguard strategist for them. It's going to be Accelerate Angela, not going to be just a hover. This is a actual lock-in, because Accelerate is out of spawn, and there's I was going to say, not really the access to trade that one out quickly now. Macquarie, they're going to be playing with it. And, well, it's interesting to see Tashi as well swapping over to the Groot. So, you know, Macquarie, they're going to have to hold steady here. 93 meters is all UNSW have to do. And they've got a very heavy dive setup going on. Angela already KO'd their Muffin with quick work onto Accelerate.
Very hasty work coming through from them there. They're going to be very happy with that one, Tony. But there's still much more work to be done here. Much more to achieve. Great that Macquarie is able to rely upon the Battle Recon Beacon, you know, and get a bit of quick reses coming through there from the rocket, but I still need a bit more presence than that. The presence now been taken down already. UNSW halfway, looking to just shade their way up, and Hoover getting AOs through with Frost there on the Angela. Oh, getting closer and closer towards none other than Heaven's Retribution, using the Spear of Icarus amazingly well there. They're so close. They will be stalled out. Oh, 0.57, Tony. The battle rages on.
Now the portal finally comes out. Lick is playing super safe. Tashi with the Maelstrom, able to find very much a lot of impact there. Lick will be taken as well by Accelerate. So just when I thought Macquarie was going to give up that mission vehicle for free, they swap it up and back to a little bit more of a steady composition. Tashi will be able to get them back towards it, and well, as he spoke about, the Angela ultimate online here for Froster. We'll see it come out, dive on in, and we'll be swinging with the axes, trying to get that damage in. Feast of the Abyss as well for Muffin, trying to find presently on the rocket, but they will be able to get away. A little slippery rocket. He's able to avoid all of the threat here, and we'll see Invisible Boundary, and we'll see Yuwang the One, and we'll see Eye of Agamotto here for Tashi, try to stall up this point, but still, Eternal Bond comes through, and Macquarie are still fighting for it.
Still fighting for it, still looking to give it their absolute best here, and let's see if they are going to be able to do it. It's time for the big meteor. Boom, and does not get the KO through, but they are holding tight, holding steady into this one. Oh, the team up coming out for the Magic now. The chains looking to be put up, but chains are made to be broken. We shall see which team is going to be able to take advantage here. They push up once again. Nuba with the Punisher there. Does a final judgment. There we go. Activated. Time to pump the damage in. Get around those corners is exactly what they're trying to do. The damage just through Grant here, but no one is going down. And it will be all wasted.
Dark Shard towards the backline here. Yuwang the One able to get on top of the strategist. That's something that will fall. So will Crescently. Great dash there from Yuwang the One. And once again onto the cut will go Frost in the Silent Seduction. But everybody falls. The KOs will go the way of UNSW. And they will be able to cap it at 93 meters. A valiant effort from Macquarie. And again, it just not seemed to be their day. 2-0 here from the side of UNSW.
Wow. Super impressed with how they played that one out, Tony. Just incredible work, you know, Muffin. Got to be the MVP there, and very, very impressed to see how these teams have fared into this one. You know, definitely looking good, looking great even, you know, to the pursuit there. And just look at that. 13 final hits from that Vanguard. Just wow, Tony. Wow.
Yeah, insane work from Muffin there. But overall, the whole team, right? We're seeing a lot of these teams when, I guess, Luna's left up, you're seeing the immediate adaptation. UNSW, they're thinking one step ahead. How do we deal with the shield compositions, with the Luna being up there? Punisher. Absolutely Punisher every time, shredding down those shields. I guess basically nullifying Tashi and Botfrag's role in those fights. They're the ones that are trying to keep their teammates up and like keeping them shielded and safe. But you've just got Nuva slowly shredding through those shields time and time again there. And I was going to say 28 limbs there from Nuva. Absolutely great series out of him. And I was going to say UNSW as a whole, a beautifully played game. I believe that books them into the playoffs as the first seed.
Wow. Just incredible work, isn't it, Tony? You know, it goes to show their strength as a roster. Really just being bolstered time and time again here. And yeah, they're solidifying their position by just taking control of these series and strolling ahead over and over again. Like, it's just wild to think about how well they've managed to navigate this season. And it really does give a lot of confidence, you know, heading towards the later stages of the season here and everything that entails. It's just really great times ahead, Tony. Can't wait.
Yeah, can't wait. And I was going to say, a props to UNSW. They looked super dominant this evening. And unfortunately for the other side, they will fall. But yeah, I believe we've got an interview, Matt.
I reckon we do. Welcome in, Frost.
What's up, guys?
See you again. I believe it. Nah, welcome in, man. What an incredible game from you guys. Like, you guys were just on the ball the whole way through. It seemed like you guys were just switched on. I was really impressed with how you guys managed your defense. And I guess, was it like, you know, just putting a barbed wire fence up? Like, what was the kind of strategy coming into that to hold them off so confidently?
I can't really lie. We kind of just played whatever we wanted and we just still won, which is like, I don't think that's like a very nice thing to say, but it kind of is the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, played into your comfort picks. You guys played a lot of different things. I believe we got to see the Angela at some stage. I guess I want to pick your brain a little bit. How do you feel Angela kind of suits into the meta at the moment? It's a very hotly contested pick amongst the players, I feel.
I think she's complete cheeks. I can't lie. She's like, if Wolverine was incredibly obvious, like, she's so loud. She's the size of like 2 Groots or something. I don't know. But like, I don't know how it should do anything besides just get shot and destroyed. Like, why?
Yeah, no, I can agree with you on that one. You know, I'm sure that maybe in season 4.5 they might change it, or maybe not. Maybe it'll just be left there to not be picked. Who knows? But yeah, with this, you guys are going to be securing the first seed going into the playoff stage. So I guess reflecting on the season, like, how are you feeling about it? Just it looks like Frost has taken a strange portal there, but he should be back in just a moment. You know, I think maybe caught one of those Eye of Agamotto's there, Tony. So hopefully should be okay.
Yeah,
for us, you know, in a little bit there.
No love for Angela though. No love for Angela, it would seem.
makes a lot of sense. But looks like we're coming back now.
Sorry,
How
my
was your
internet
time in the
uploaded.
portal there, Frost? Yeah, you're back now. You've
Yeah.
taken the eye of
Sorry.
Agamotto. You're back.
What were we talking about? We're talking about how we felt about
Yeah, so I was
the
just
competition.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. I was just wanting your reflection on the season, and how you guys have played.
Like, to be completely honest, I don't think that there's any realistic competition at the current moment. There are some teams that could like take points off us, but I don't think we'd ever lose if we're completely like full on sweating. Yeah, it's kind of what happens when you just have like 3 pro players on the same team. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment there. I'm definitely keen to see more of that shining through. I definitely know what a lot of you guys are capable of, and I'm sure we're going to see more of that outside in the next few weeks or so. So definitely keen for that. But yeah, I guess with the season, you guys have played super well. I'm excited to see what you guys can do into the playoffs. I do hope that some of the other teams are able to like make it competitive, and it's not just like a one-sided endeavor. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
But
that would actually be really fun. Like,
yeah,
this is kind of a curb stomp, and I feel guilty like doing this a lot. I can't lie. But yeah, it'd be nice to have some competition again.
yeah. No, hopefully the other teams can heed your words there and give it their absolute best. But yeah, thanks so much for coming in with us tonight, Frost. It's been great to have you on board again, and yeah, hopefully we see you again into next week or so.
Thank you. All right, bye guys.
All right, there you go. Great to have one of our players on for an interview once again there, Tony. Always good to get their insights. But we got more players ready to get into their games. And while we get those set up, everybody, we are just going to head towards a break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the other side of this. welcome back everybody to the AEL University Elite Series here with Marble Rivals and Matty and TwoTapTony, and we are also here with our sponsors.
Absolutely. AGON by AOC, the #1 gaming monitor brand in the world, Matt. AGON by AOC provide the best in-class monitor solutions for all gaming and all other needs.
That's it. A big shout out to HyperX and Officeworks as well. Power your game with the latest HyperX gear at Officeworks. Push performance to the limit with the latest in gaming tech. From high spec to precision gear, Officeworks has what you need.
And last but not least, of course, Indomie the Noodle partner, made with high-quality flour and selected ingredients and spices. A plate of Indomie mee goreng will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the selected flavors. Available today at your local grocer or at indomie.com.au. Matt, of course, shout out to our sponsors. Couldn't have done it without them.
That's it. Big shout out to our sponsors. Big shout out to our teams. We got two more coming up right now. As you can see, Monash and Deacon going to be our teams here today. Deacon, the team to try and get a win. Oh, and let's see who's playing. We got Monash. It's going to be Genzo, Worsh, Dixon 99, Georgie, Student, and Fioven. And Deacon going to be JJ Sheds, 04, Bumper Squid, Towels 675, Picker Dudes, and Hero. And you know what? I can't believe that Monash have done this. They missed an opportunity. Pikachudes versus Pikadudes. How could they?
Shaking my head.
Yep.
We got Student instead.
Yeah, we got Student for now. Maybe we'll change it up. But we're going to Clintar, Tony. We're going to the Celestial Husk into Domination. So, say goodbye to Burn and T'Challa. It's time for Celestial Husk.
Yeah, it's good to get a different Domination map. I was going to say a lot of Burn and T'Challa. So, Change of Pace is a good one. And Celestial Husk is, I was going to say, it's a pretty fun Domination, all things considered. You know, we've seen a lot of hotly contested compositions and comp on this map. So, as we'll see, and the picks and bans for both sides are already going to be seeing a Mantis ban into a Torch lock here for Deacon. So, yeah, Torch getting through early on here for Deacon. Kind of don't mind that one. I guess that's the flexibility of them getting to lock after a ban is, yeah, Torch immediately. Ultron taken away by the side of Monash, and you know, once again, strategists seem to be what everybody wants to take away.
No surprises there, especially seeing the Ultron taken out alongside the Lunar Snow there. There's just a lot of potential around those two strategists in particular, you know, especially with the aggressive and the defensive presence that you can get out of something like an Ultron. It's just insane. Next level even. But there we go. See more Ultron taken away. Focus on Invisible Woman, though, from Monash there. Don't want to deal with the invisible boundary. They're not too worried about Mantis, though. Mantis has been taken away from them, but haven't taken away from their opponent yet. They are going to keep the invisible boundary for themselves, though. I respect it. You know, if you have limited options in the strategist field, choose what can yield the most results for you. And looks like they're going that direction. So, keen to see what else will be happening. Cloak and Dagger is not happening at all. We actually could see, I'd say maybe Invisible Woman and maybe Mantis up top. But I think there's potential for other strategists to kind of break out here as well, Tony. Maybe we play into like an Atom and Rocket, you know, full-blown resurrection composition there. I don't know.
Okay. Mantis.
Okay. Goodbye.
Yeah, Mantis Luna.
I'm not judging.
And yeah, high priority towards the torches for both sides. Cloak and Dagger going to be in the mix here for Deacon. I was going to say, I like the prio there, at least for Monash to get 5 on that Sue. I was going to say very much plays similar to how you want your Lunas playing, right? A very team-centric ultimate that keeps everybody healthy online. And we're going to be seeing Deacon, a few different things are being thought about. Torch as well for them. Patal, we're going to be seeing Hero on towards the Loki. Jay going to be playing Magic. And same with Joji. So a lot of Magic prio for both these sides. Of course, Monash is going to be playing into the team up with Genzo on the Strange. So yeah, I was gonna say you've got the read on the meta. A lot of Magic being played this evening so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, the chains are just really powerful. Like, Magic Strange is probably going to be picked out a lot this season, I'd say. And there it is. Chad's already. Yep, Genzo straight away. I think that that's going to be one of the most seen team-ups all season long. Like, it's just really great, the potential you can get out of that. So it doesn't surprise me seeing that brought out there. And, you know, I'm curious, like, if something else could come into the mix alongside that. You know, if you use, like, a Squirrel Girl, then you can use the chains alongside it. Like, the combinations are cooking, but I don't know how well it works in practice, you know? I'd just love to see it at least once. But for now, the fight begins. It rages on, and the KO goes to Genzo.
Yeah, they're going to take out Genzo. BRB Beacon brings them back. Joji's taken out of the piece, and Wosh is now a little bit too deep behind enemy lines. So Deacon winning out the fight for the moment, and will be finding themselves some good KOs. Jay as well on towards this Magic. I was going to say, eyes on both of the Magics to really kind of find the impacts here, as we'll see Joji back up on that one. And we see Deacon a little bit scattered, but still holding this position quite well here over towards the spawn side of things. Loki keeping everybody healthy for the moment after all that damage comes out. And Monash, I was going to say Wosh on this Angela early on hasn't quite found its mark yet.
Yeah, hasn't found its mark, and very curious to see if they are going to be able to find it momentarily here. Eternal Bond coming online there. Big Ensong Inferno from Dixon99. That is going to get them back online here. Slow and steady onto that last KO on a towel, so I guess it's good to delay things, but still going to have to be more where that came from. Love to see Wosh just trying to make the Angela work here, though. You know, I feel like it's a very niche Vanguard pick, but here we go. Darkchild online from JJ. Time to play. Try to sway things into their team's direction.
Invisible Boundary, though. Darkchild dash on top of a few, but Invisible Boundary staying healthy here for the side. Monash will be losing a few members, though, in the process. We'll see Joji, though, now pop the Darkchild themselves, looking to dash across and slash through a few of these members, but nobody is taking any sort of damage. The healing coming out so well from the strategist from Deacon. And they'll cap the point once again here. Monash will be able to get to 50%, but again, I was going to say there's only so much experimenting you can do before it really starts to rear its ugly head. Deacon, they do have a few ultimates online as well. We have the Supernova available for Tal. Can be looking to hold on to that one. Meteor M as well from Bumper Squid. This is going to have to be Monash playing their fight super well.
Here it is. It's going to be a Meteor M coming online there. We saw Heaven Fallen. We saw Heaven's Retribution, but able to get too much further from it there. You have Supernova online from Tal here if they need it. I don't think they're going to require it at this stage, though. Utilizing their shields, trying to yield for assault. Big to use the crystal there. Power up that damage. Just get so much more potential through. Just going to hold back, stack things up. See if they can get a more from it turn. But it's always great to see how they zone things out, how they build upon their potential here. And here it comes. Darkchild online.
Ooh, but immediately stopped there by Joji. So KO comes quickly, Supernova out of Tal. Joji finds another pick there onto Cheds. So now the fight looks a little bit more favored towards the side of Monash. Eternal Bond onto the point. It's going to be another view from Tal. Portal coming out from JJ just to get back to the point if necessary. Tal still dishing out this damage here up on the high ground. Nobody's really able to deal with it for Monash. And we can see how safely as well that Hero is playing on this Loki, keeping everybody topped up. Kraken Impact comes out, but that's onto the wrong target. Psionic Seduction out of Jeds. The reset's available for Joji, but overtime will tick. Puts him Portal out here from Genzo onto the point. Ensong Inferno flies on through. We'll be able to find the peak onto Pikadudes, and it is looking like Monash are slowly but surely trying to win this fight out right now. Another Kraken Impact comes out. Student will find JJ in the process. Overtime will tick and still on the point. Jets is able to stop them for the moment. The finally the cap goes to Monash, and they will be able to stall out Deacon for a little bit longer.
That's it, back online here, going to be able to stall them out and look to see if they can do even more with the Tone, but see if they are going to be able to confidently zone them out, as there's going to be more where that came from, you know, there's going to be more potential on online. Yeah, speaking of, here we go, Magic Show is online and trying to see if they can pick the right card here. Take their way forward into the fray once again. Damage already pumping up, but nobody will go down except for JJ. And here we go, Heaven's Retribution coming out there, gonna be locking them in place and displacing every single one of them. So, amazing stuff coming out from Monash into that one, you know. Really impressed with how they played that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, very good ultimate there out of WHOCE, as we'll see Monash able to bounce back and capture the point there. As we got to hear from Frost from UNSW, they think Angela plays a little bit like a worse Wolverine in a circumstance here, but on the side of Monash, they seem to make it work. It also feels like a counter to all of the magic play that we're seeing. You know, WHOCE is happy to take that fight against JJ up in the fray, and of course just the healthier HP bar wins that out every day of the week. And well, for Monash, able to capture that first point just when I was starting to doubt this Angela pick. It pays off, Matt.
Yeah, it pays dividends, you know. It seems that they have a way to work around it super well, Tony, and it's great to see, you know, they're exploring ways to kind of further their capabilities here, and it's working out great. Looks like Deacon, you know, they're trying to make Angela work as well, so definitely a plethora of curiosities are going to be realized here, Tony, but it's time to rush away straight over to the mission area time to see who's going to be able to strike first. And here we go. They meet face to face. It's time to get down to business.
Face to face towards the high ground. And we'll see Sheds immediately try to go for a kidnap. They have found Genzo. And they'll be able to take them out with a quick KO. Magneto, Meteor, M coming out. Joji flying across and will be found by the Meteor there. Tower as well, popping the Supernova. Just getting all of the damage out here. The Seer, though, came out from Student at such a pivotal moment. That's found all these players here from Monash healthy, dishing out more damage than Deacon can deal with. Of course, the BRB beacon to keep Genzo back in this fight. It will be Monash able to find that one. WHOCE is somehow still alive right now. Not going to be taken out there, not going to be KO'd. And we'll fall back to the safety of the point here. Monash holding steady now.
Holding steady, holding strong, and looking to break into this one. So, let's see if they can do more here. Here we go. Darkchild online for JJ. Already jumping into the fray here. We'll be able to find Joji. Looking to see if they can zone anybody out of this as well. Slowly but carefully slicing their way through. Goodbye to your strategist. Goodbye to your backline. A Furban down. Vixen. Ooh, does get away with the Goddess of Death there. Lucky timing on that one, but are they going to be able to get something through? The shield! Oh no! The shield yields the result.
Yeah, beautiful block there from Cheds, but still the fight was won by Monash as they'll try to trickle Cheds down. And they will stagger out the KO. There goes to Joji.
Nothing personal.
And Monash, great hold, all things considered. You know, Deacon came into that fight in a winnable situation. Jay was able to find the strategist there in the back line and find a high impact there with the Darkchild, but it doesn't pay off here. And for Monash, they still have Ayabagamota, Kraken Impact as well available for Joji. Cheds does have Heaven's Retribution, and they're going to need it here for Deacon. They've already lost JJ in the process here onto Joji. He is still healthy for the moment. Cops Kraken Impact, and is happy to take the fight. Hero does Eternal Bond onto the point. Nobody here for the side of Monash is playing towards the point. They're playing the high ground. Almost giving that one up, but they're able to adapt here, and the Seer will come out from Student.
Here we go, bringing in with the Eye of Agamotto there. They are going to be able to pump things up a notch, looking to hunt down their opponents, zone them away from the mission area. and that's going to be the OT timer reaching its conclusion. Everyone's down, no one is back up in time. And that will be that, Mr. Tony. Celestial Husk, locked and loaded for Monash. They check in.
Yeah, the hand and the Codex are going to go their way, and I have to give credit to Monash, right? I was doubting. I was doubting WotOCE on this Angela, and it pays off perfectly there. MVP performance definitely deserved there in, I guess, that second point in the later stages of that first point to cap for Monash. And, of course, checking out the final hits, 12 here for WotOCE. A little bit less damage blocked here than Genzo, but, of course, that's, you know, you're playing Angela. Dive-centric Vanguard. We saw Dixon Joji really kind of lock in as well for the later stages of that first point going into the second. And for Deacon, that started out so well for them. That domination was looking good. And then it kind of all fell into a tailspin. SVP there for Tal. I have to say the torch was pretty good, but I was going to say the rest of it kind of felt lacking a little bit there for Deacon in the later stages.
Yeah, they had a really great start, didn't they? But then it just all started to slow down, and they just weren't able to speed back up. I don't know. They just fell short. It's so unfortunate. You know, I think that they definitely have some great potential there, some great ways to move forward. But Monash, after they tried to play around with it, they went back to Old Faithful, and they locked the heck in, Tone, and they managed to own their potential, own their power, and storm the front.
Yeah, and I was going to say I have to give credit to Student as well, playing a very slippery rocket there. Some great beacons that, you know, brought Genzo back into that fight initially. That was Monash capping the point and holding it. And then, of course, as well, some great sears. The timing, especially from Student on those sears, was quite pivotal there in finding Monash those beacons of opportunity to win those fights. And I have to give credit, you know, they banned out his Cloak and Dagger. Student has been playing a ton of Cloak and Dagger recently, so great prio ban there from Deacon, but Student shows a little bit of flexibility, able to play the rocket 5-on as well on the Invisible Woman. Wasn't too bad. So, you know, we speak highly of Genzo and WotOCE there as the front line, but I have to say the strategist as well from Monash really held it down well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you touched on, you know, Student, very impactful. I think the rocket pick was great. Like, I was talking in the initial stages of the match, how considering all of the strategists that were banned out, you know, I considered that there could be like a rocket or an Adam, and only the rocket came out. That's all they needed. You know, Adam would have just been overkill in that sense, but it was great to see how they just managed to really tap in, you know, make sure those beacons are up as safe as much as possible. And yeah, they were able to definitely reap the rewards of that one. So wouldn't be surprised, you know, if we see a bit of different priority coming through into the next draft. You know, I think the picks and bans are going to evolve once again. It doesn't surprise me, or it won't surprise me if there's going to be focus around the strategists all over. But Tony, looks like we're having a match of unique landscapes. Spider Islands. Hello.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting one to go to for our second one here on Convoy, and I feel like it's going to be an interesting one.
And everything is going to be going well. Absolutely. Can't wait to see what is going on here, Tony. I think it's going to be a good time ahead heading towards the Spider Islands. You know, I think we've got good times, but I think we've got some good news, some great news even. I've heard on the horizon that Pikachu is going to be taking on Pikadudes. Of course, Pikachu is subbing in for Student, so it looks like the wild card, the MVP of Monash, is back to play.
Yeah, should be good to see. You know, we'll be Pikadudes versus Pikachu. And yeah, as you said, it's going to be interesting going into the picks and bans for this one. Torch getting taken away for the side of Monash. They're not allowing Deacon to play into that one this time around. It's just getting taken away from Monash. So I imagine we'll see, I guess, you know, picks and bans kind of moved up in priority a little bit for both these sides. Of course, that Torch was a little bit left later in the piece. Luna going to be locked in here. Or the side of Monash bans coming through. as well here for Deacon. And I was going to say, they're thinking about the Penny and Rocket team up, which is a pretty good defensive composition to run on a map like Spider Island.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think there's definitely a lot of potential they can tap into with the mines there. You know, they can really manage to zone them out. Like, you think of a team with mine potential, and you think of RMIT. Like, if they're able to play it just like that, you know, you get Penny mines out, play it into the Strange Portal, get some opening picks through from there, and then it's all going to go great from that point forward.
Yeah, as we'll see Luna lock here for Deacon. Ultron getting taken away in the piece here. And Cloak and Dagger, again, going to be denied. This time going to be Monash denying that one from Deacon. So some interesting adaptations going to be coming through here. As we'll wait to see what Deacon decide to lock in here. There's a lot of different things they could look to put prio towards. Definitely the Rocket, I imagine, going to be thought about. But Emma Frost here for Deacon. So maybe wanting a little bit of a better front line this time around.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. You know, bring up the potential of your Vanguards there. Really see if you can manage to take them leaps and bounds further. And see if you can manage to just get the full potential out of your roster. But it's time for the next pick. Next Protect coming out from Monash here, and they are looking to tick things down. See, it's Invisible Woman. Once again, the boundary being very well prioritized.
Yeah, this is an interesting situation now that Deacon left in. Because what do they decide to ban finally? What was the issue? We can definitely not see Ultron for both sides. So, Ultron already being banned out here. For Deacon, gonna be, of course, receiving Torch ban, and we'll see Monash ban Torch out as the final one as well. So, both sides not allowing to rock with the Torch. Of course, as well, we saw a experimentation from Monash with the Joji, and I believe it was Genzo team up there on the Magic and Strange. This time it's going to be Pikachu bringing that one to the table, and Joji's like, you know what? Let's give it another go.
Yeah, let's give it another go. Let's see which way they are going to flow. They are looking to jump back into Ray here. Ooh, you know what else I see? I see Star-Lord into a little bit of a team up here too, Mr. Tony. Star-Lord is going to be jumping out. Jumping in, for that matter. With the Rocket. So, this is what we like to see. Keen. So keen, but you know what else I'm keen for, Tony? We get to see Blade online from Tal right now. You don't see Blade every day, but now it's time to play and get into the fray here. Let's see if they can make this one work right now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Blade against a little bit dive-centric composition here. Dixon, of course, onto the Star-Lord. We'll see Woach still rocking with the Angela. An immediate pick, Genzo. Going to be picking that one up, the KO on the Cheds, and you can see just all over the likes of Deacon with their defensive prowess, but aggressive nature. Pikachu, Dixon, and Joji all combining for some quick KOs. Tao will jump off there to get back to spawn. No stagger here. They will try to find Bumper Squid on the Venom. There will be Wosh stunning them in place there with Pikachu and Monash with a quick cap there towards the mission vehicle, and they'll continue to just play this upfront pressure.
Yeah, continue to play up front and personal here and see if they can manage to garner some attention through for this one. They are sticking back. Big push from Student there as well. And the KOs now start to lock in. Pikachu taking out Pikadudes there, showing them who's boss. And looking to see if they can find much more with Joji on the Magic. All working out wonderfully. So Monash going to be able to confidently push the mission vehicle pretty much the whole way through here. So great to see they have managed to tap in there. And, you know, I'm curious if there's going to be any KOs off the map from Wosh. You know, if they're going to go for the home run
definitely looking for it. Will be able to steal away Bumper Squid. Great combo there from WhatOCE. I was going to say, showing that the hours are definitely being put in towards this Angela pick. It's not just for show. It's not just for good looks here. Dixon will be able to find JJ there on the approach. Galactic Legends up. So many ultimates here for Monash. And, of course, they could look to pop them at a moment's notice. We'll see the Heaven's Retribution, going out here, taking them straight to hell. Genzo as well, jumping in. Bumper Squid's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm not going to get staggered. And Monash, a clean fight with just one ultimate used.
Oh, God, you had me.
Yeah, looking to definitely do what they can here. See what they can do, but going to be holding back for a second here. Ooh, here we go. Got a mischief. Utilized. Darkchild coming out from JJ as well. It's death time into the invisible boundary. Boom, here we go. Good catch onto just Lunar Snow. Oh, and they won't be able to get away from it either. So unfortunate. But what is fortunate is the Galactic Legend coming out. Not going to get much use though. Ooh, catch from outside of the Fate of Both Worlds there. Well, that's unlucky positioning. That's going to hurt you, Tal. And they're looking to see if they can get much more.
Yeah, the rest of Monash staggered out of the spawn. As, of course, it was just Dixon to try and find that fight with Joji. Darkchild online now here for the side of Monash, and they can look to walk it up here with that Darkchild. Jed's just taking a ton of upfront damage here. KO potential for Joji. They will be able to find it. JJ picks one up, but Joji and WhatOCE are swinging blades, swinging axe, and they're looking to fight on here towards the spawn side of things. They haven't even capped the cart. Joji a little bit tagged up there. Enson Inferno in the close range corners here from the side of Deacon, but it doesn't pay off. WhatOCE again just being a menace on this Angela, and the cap will come. The mission vehicle continues to push. Genzo's just watching it all happen from the card.
Yeah, just got the best view, don't they? For the best kind of gameplay. Speaking of, here we go. Heaven's Retribution coming out. Boom. WhatOCE going to be able to take out the KO immediately. Looking for more around the back there. Catch. And you're it. And they will be able to get more and more KOs with their team. Just locking it down on this one, Torrent. They are loving it.
Yeah, and I might be an Angela supporter now. I was going to say, WhatOCE has definitely got me feeling some type of way about this pick. I have Agamotto coming out from Pikachu onto Pikadudes. It will be JJ, though, finding one potentially back here for the side of Deacon when they need it most, because this card still continue to push. Kraken Impact potential here now coming out on towards the cart. It will be the Jeff time. Staggered out a little bit. Swallows up 5 members, 3 of his team and 2 of the enemy, and will try and take them off there. Bumper Squid did pop the Feast of the Abyss, and it's still the fight raging out here. Darkchild from Joji looking to dash on here with the Galactic Legend from Dixon just to soften them up for these killing blows. It's 1, it's 2. Dixon as well finding these KOs with the double from himself, and Monash will continue to push this card forward.
Yeah, we'll be looking to push it forward and see if they can do more from it here. Nice psionic seduction, trying to stall out the mission vehicle as long as they can. Give it their best here, but are going to have to hold firm, hold tight on to this one. The ship has not yet sailed. They still have to prevail over the opposing vanguard. And many more to follow. Tal already going to go down here. Joji jumping around, trying to see if they can slice through them, but Fate of Both Worlds is going to do good work out of this one. Heaven's Retribution keeping them in place as well.
Got them locked in here. So everybody's scattered right now. Will be the first out of Pikachu with the Maelstrom here. They're trying to find these strategists that are stalling out the point right now. And all of a sudden, the feed will light up with Joji now. Darkchild onto Bumper Squid. He'll be pushed off the mission vehicle. And Monash will be finally able to cap there. About 2 meters to their board. Deacon, unfortunately, not able to stop them.
Yeah, not able to stop them at all. They're going to be rattled from that one, but now it's their time to switch sides, prime up, see if they can play for the OT sector here, Tone. Probably going to be a difficult endeavor, but fun one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Angela and TwoTapTony. Oh, that is a lot of frontline presence coming out from the Vanguard. I'm kind of scared to think about what this could do, but it's not going to see the light of day, as we need that magic team up there with Strange. So, alas, no cap today.
30 seconds
No
before you
cap.
attack. Get ready.
Unfortunately. It would have been interesting, you know, as you said, the Bash Brother composition, I'd like to dub it as, with Angela and Cap just up in the mix, just throwing haymakers at Deacon. On their attack side as well, you know, normally you don't see a lot of these defensive teams play too aggressively, but well, we're going to be seeing Deacon now to their attack side, Monash now to defend, and we're going to be seeing Wosh. Potential for a kidnap here.
Well, it looks like they're going to get kidnapped, so I guess you predicted it right, Tony. It was a kidnap. Just wasn't the way that Wosh thought it would go. They are going to be able to slip away, though, so good to see. They're trying to be a bit cheeky in the initial stages here, you know, just trying to keep them distracted as long as they possibly can. After trying to push up the mission vehicle. But speaking of it, Pikachu, rather, is going to be taken out in the beginning there, so there'll be a bit of frontal pressure coming out towards Monash here, but they're going to be getting trades through even still, looking for more. Chad's thrown straight towards the back line there. They aren't able to find too much from it.
Yeah, I was going to say, this comp doesn't really, I guess, work on the defensive side as much as it did the attack, because we'll see Deacon continue to push that mission vehicle. But we'll still see the side of Monash try to play for the hold. The portal came in the mix of this fight, and a lot of damage still being dished out here. Deacon, though, holding pretty steady.
Holding steady, giving it their best. Stia gonna be good to bring up the power, bring up the amplified damage, and see if they can capture a bit more into it. Tal, one of the same, trying to slice her through. Take it down, Dixon 99 there, but I'm gonna hold steady. Whoosh has found their next victim. Straight onto the strategist there. They are hunting down that damage. It's going to be Jeff Time coming out there as well. Gento trying to take Luna Snow. Not going to be able to take them too far. There we go. Pikachu is gone eventually. And there's much more to follow from there. So taking out those priority targets. Only going to bolster their defenses.
Yeah, bolstering their defenses. They're into the room here. On top of the BRB beacon here. From the side of Deacon, Monash. I was going to say a little bit, I guess, aggressively popping that Galactic Legend, but Dixon, it pays off, and Monash, they are able to hold it. 68 meters here pushed here. They're expected to kidnap this time. Roach getting shut down immediately. We'll see the fight ensue here. Cheds will be able to chokeslam there onto Pikachu's, but it is going to be the fight still being won out. I have Agamotto here from Pikachu on top of a few members, and that is going to be the KO still racking up here for Monash, and Deacon, they're sent back to their spawn.
Sent back to spawn, and I don't know how they're going to break out here, Tony. It's a difficult spot they've been placed in. They've lost JJ as well. Again, they're in a big trouble right now, but we'll see if it's time to capture something else around the back here. Chad's trying to bring out big damage, but they are going to fall down. So, Beacon struggling. Here we go. Time to get armed and dangerous. But they're not going to really get much from the Kraken impact there at all. But speaking of ults, it's time for every single ult. It's going to be Fate of Both Worlds, into the Seer, into the Psionic Seduction, into the Dark Child, into the Jeff Time. Everything is coming out here, and it does allow Deacon a chance to break through.
Wosh is able to live for a long while there. Tal is trying to find the hunt, but Deacon, at least, popping a ton of ultimates. They are able to finally get that mission vehicle moving with 25 seconds here to play with. They've got overtime to toy with too, but of course ultimates as well start to come online here once again for Monash. We'll have Dark Child, we'll have Galactic Legend, we'll have Heaven's Retribution come out from Wosh. Visible Boundary as well for Student on top of that one, and Pikachu's with the beautiful Eye of Agamotto to slowly steady out this fight, and Monash will will be cleaning it up. Nobody available for the portal back on. It is going to be Darkchild, Galactic Legend, just a good measure to stop anybody from thinking, from getting out of the spawning point. Darkchild from Joji, KOs come through, and Monash will collect Spider Island here.
That they will. Confident coming out there. That's going to be the series, my man. Going in favor of Monash. The Monash of old has come back to play. That is going to be MVP time coming at you from yours truly. It's Joji. Amazing stuff on the Magic there on the Winter Soldier. I was very impressed with how they managed to navigate their characters, Tony, and 41 KOs there. All the medals, they are decorated in this game, and they've got 17 final hits. The only one super close by was WotOCE, getting 16 final hits of their own there, and it was just huge to see the potential, to see the presence there, Tony. Like, the combinations coming out here are pretty impressive in of itself. You know, you get the chains out from the Magic into the Strange team up there. Then you've also got Heaven's Retribution coming out from WotOCE, tethering your enemies down over and over again. It's just insane how much tethering is coming into play here.
Yeah, it was insane to see. I was going to say, definitely now an Angela fan for sure, especially in that composition, right, where you've got the Invisible Woman at your disposal. So as soon as WotOCE tethers a ton of those players down, you immediately see Student pop that invisible boundary and keep everybody that is fighting on top of those tethers healthy. Joji as well can play around that tether with the Chains of Citriac, as you said. And yeah, overall, Monash, that was a great bounce back from what looked like a rough start overall in the series to them. Of course, going back to Domination, it looked a little bit rough. Deacon kind of came out hotly contested there, and then we saw Monash lock in. We saw them able to bounce back and really come into a good way in this series.
That's it. Definitely going in a good way. It's going to be all positive. And you know what else is positive? Our interview. Welcome in, Genzo!
Hey everyone.
It's a pleasure to have you on board once again, my man. It's been a long time, and it's so good to have you here. But I got to say, Angela, how are you and the team feeling coming into that pick? I was so impressed seeing it come out.
Yeah, Angela, definitely a weird character, and she was obviously made for WotOCE, so it was an easy pickup for him. He got all the tech down, and he's dominating, so yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, love to see it. I was going to say, yeah, WotOCE, very dive-centric kind of guy, so it feels made for him, and I was going to say, you guys definitely wielded that one well. I also want to talk a little bit as well. You guys played into the Strange and Magic team up. How's that kind of been working with the way you guys like to play?
Yeah, so, you know, Magic this season got buffed very heavily, so she's very strong, roll, dive, whatever character, honestly. And Strange also got buffed, so... And also getting a team up together, like, it's just perfect. So Strange and Magic both being very strong this season, would definitely be using that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that kind of meta shift, isn't it? You know, it's just the other Vanguards are still there, but it's great to, I guess, see Strange come back onto the plate. But I guess moving in towards like the rest of season 4 as a whole, like, do you think other teams might start to adopt the Angela as well, or do you think maybe it'll stay more as like a niche pick for the players who can wield the best that they can?
Yeah, I think Angela, the way she's designed, she's probably a bit more niche. Definitely players can pick her up, but her playstyle is very different to regular Vanguards. And I think if the enemy team is really locked in, they can kind of punish her pretty hard. So you really have to know what you're doing. So, you know, maybe we'll see a couple good Angelas out there, but it wouldn't be as common as like Emma's and Max.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely great to hear your insights on that, Genzo. You know, you're always switched on in and out of the game. So, you know, always good to get your insights there. And I guess, yeah, it's looking great. You guys have really managed to step it up. You know, we definitely had a bit of a shaky start to the season, but now you guys have managed to work your way all the way back up. You've made a playoffs. This is huge for you guys. And yeah, it's a proud moment, you know, to see that you've managed to come back like this. But the hard work's not over.
Yeah, definitely not. We're very glad we secured playoffs, and now it's time to lock in and hopefully win once again. But yeah, time to lock in.
That's it. Great to see that you guys are switched on, and best of luck heading into the playoffs. You know, there's very hot competition coming into it this time around, and yeah, may the best team win. Thanks so much for coming in with us.
No worries. Nice talking to you as always. So thanks for having me.
Likewise.
Cheers.
Very good, Tony. Always great to have Genzo on board there. And while we get things set up for our final matchup, we are going to be heading to a break, everybody. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back, everybody, to the AEL University Elite Series with Matsy and TwoTapTony Marvel Rivals. It's gaming time, our last series of the night. UTS and Swinburne coming at ya. And Tony, how you feeling about this one?
I'm feeling great, Matt. We got to see some great Angela gameplay, and I expect one of these teams to maybe bring it out tonight as we check out the rosters for you. UTS, it's Flaunt, Milk, Dinosaur Pillow, Anthony, Jaysune, and Gas. And for the side of Swimmer, it's Moxicles, Kaguya, John Clefine, Nanobo, Lunafera, and Golem Yo. So I was going to say some great names, but also some great players, I was going to say, for both sides, of course. We spoke to Smiles, as they said, a lot of pro players in the scene, a lot of pro players in the Uni League here. So, it's going to be interesting for both these teams and who's got the better Uni League players. But of course, UTS looking good on the standings overall. This is going to be a very important game, I feel, for a team like Swinburne.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that both teams definitely have to lock in here. I think Swinburne especially, have to really bring their A game into the Celestial Husk. I think it's great to see, I guess, both series have had these double ups, of the domination maps there. We've gone to two different landscapes, but maybe we see Krakoa in another life, but not this life. But still great to see that both teams are locking and loading into this one. Moxicles hovering the torch. Ooh, are we going to see the Moxicles torch coming out, bringing out the Aura Farm into this one, Tony? I'm keen to see what this is going to look like.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm keen to see it. I was going to say Moxicles didn't do too bad last week on the torch, so hoping to get to see it. Hopefully a little bit of aura farming done here by Swinburne. But as we see Hicks and Bands come through, Luna Snow taken away by the side of UTS, Torch getting taken away by Swinburne. So, Moxicles might get the opportunity, but as I think about it, Torch getting taken away by UTS. Ultron being locked in here by the side of Swinburne is as well an interesting one to note. Potential towards the flyer composition here for Swinburne, unless we see as well UTS going to go that direction.
Definitely a good go that direction. Good go another direction as well, as they are looking to get their next banner locked in a Swinburne here. We're going to see that major strategist focus once again. No. Focus on to Emma Frost this time. Okay. I can understand. You don't want to deal with the psionic seduction. You want to keep that frontline presence open. It looks like both teams are heading in the same direction here. So it looks like we got a game of mirrors so far, for the most part.
Yeah, mirror bans for both of these teams and mirror locks for both of these sides so far. We'll see Luna actually locked in here, though, for the side of UTS. So Swinburne, well, they missed their opportunity to take that one away. And they'll be thinking, what else is a high priority here? Of course, there's a lot of different things. We've seen Strange, we've seen Angela, we've seen Magic, and I imagine as well we'll get to see the takeaway of Jeff. Because, a lot of these teams do play Jeff. I was going to say that it's just, very much in the background, and I feel like, a few of these strategists have been nerfed a little bit. A few of them have just been priority bans. So yeah, taking away the Jeff, a pretty interesting one. It's Swinburne locking in the Venom as their final lock there. So that's an interesting one, giving Nanobo a little bit of freedom to run rampant here with John Clefine on the Vanguard line. The UTS probably are going to be a little bit more of a defensive composition. We'll see Magneto lock, we'll see Flaunt on towards the Invisible Woman, and as well that Luna lock coming through. Still questioning what we'll see. Have the side of Swinburne as the Moxicles Phoenix isn't a bad idea.
Ooh, Moxicles Phoenix coming out. Okay, I see you. I see what they're cooking here. But you know what else is cooking, Tony? Anthony coming at you on the Magic, and Jaysune is bringing out the Spider-Man. We love it when we see a bit of Spider-Man. If there's a man who can, it's Spider-Man who can. And we are going to be seeing none other than the Moxicals. Hella. Here we go, Tony.
Yeah, here we go. Going to be playing into the Venom team up. And, of course, for the side of UTS, going to be rocking some more defensive compositions as we expected to see the Stranger Magic, but as well going to be playing with the Penny. And interesting thing to note as well, Dinosaur Pillow popping the nest there on top of where Gas is going to portal. So if Swinburne come through that portal, it could be an absolute haymaker of things here. The net going to come out there, but everybody going to be stunned up. And unfortunately, UTS probably not able to walk through that portal.
Yeah, I liked what they had in practice there. You know, Jaisuni was probably going to try and pull them in with a Spider-Man web, but just didn't work out. So they've switched out to their real composition now. It's time for the Blade to engage here, but Lafine already going to be KO'd out by Gas there. So really decent start coming through from them, and it's more where that came from, Tony, as Golemyo be taken down. Milk one and the same. A good KO's coming through there, but there's more to follow. Moxicals is out of here. UTS starting to build themselves up. Will be able to hold it down, but I did see the chain come out for a second there, Tony, so unlucky for them. They'll be stuck together for a while longer, but you know what? Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, team ups are very important. It feels like we're playing into them a lot more as of late here. Jaisune able to find Kaguya. So great KO there to kind of stagger this approach still from Swinburne, because they're trying to retake as the percentage builds up here for UTS, and they're looking to walk it up here. Gas being a absolute menace here on the stage. I was going to say, dishing out a ton of damage with the Maelstroms here as well. We're going to be seeing Golemyo now pulling out the Rage of Ultron. Eye of Agamotto towards the backline. 1000-fold slash as well from Jaisune, as we see everybody from UTS combining in as well. Magic onto the higher ground, up in the air, taking out Golemyo that popped that Rage of Ultron. And looking for a little bit more, trying to find the pick on the Moxicals too. As we'll see UTS run rampant for that first fight.
Yeah, going absolutely wild so far, Tony, but AEST is only the beginning. They haven't even reached their full potential yet. See that build up a little bit more, heading towards the later stages of this mission area, but already John Lafine going to be jumping in the back line there. Chains are going to come and out, so they're going to nullify some of that dive potential in this one. Milk popping the fate of both worlds there with Anthony on the Dark Child, and here we go. They're slicing up the front line, slicing up the back line. Everybody's getting sliced up right now. Oh, poor man, this could be in trouble. Oh, we'll be able to get away. So the fight's still raging on, and UTS maintaining control.
Yeah, I was going to say, still somehow able to maintain control. Meteor comes out from Dinosaur Pillow, able to find the KO here. Rage of Ultron as well coming across from Golemyo, but the picks are still going the way of UTS for the moment. Dinosaur Pillow trying to find and shield for the backline right now. Milk News is getting dove. Maelstrom comes out from Gas, looking for Nonobo. Will be able to get away, but overtime ticks, and I don't think Nonobo's able to walk back. I don't think the Strange Portal's coming in time. And UTS will be able to take that first point there. The vault on Celestial Husk going to be theirs.
It is so going to be theirs, and they will be very impressed with that. But it's time to decipher the codex, and I'm curious what is going to be unraveled from the code here, as we're playing into the symbiotic team up. Got Hella and Venom coming at you from a Swinburne at the moment, so definitely in for if this one gets stuck too, for one thing. But if they are going to be able to tap in and really gain some deeper maneuverability here. Looks like they're trying that again though, Tony. UTS fail once, but this time they may yet prevail.
We're gonna give it a go again. I don't mind it, right? You know, may as well give it a try. Anthony was thinking about going towards the point, but of course the comm is, let's portal. Let's try to pull them through. So this is going to be a very important pick here. Jason are going to have to lock in for this web pull there, and it is going to be the stun, but nobody is going to be able to come through. They actually popped the Eternal Bond. Luna very aggressive one to use there. I was going to say for the side of UTS, they'll walk out now with the invisible boundary and the 1000-fold slash potentially up here for Jason in a little bit as the dash comes on through. And very interesting fight. I have AGON as well coming through on towards the back line. Feast to the Abyss from Nonobo isn't going to quite find anything here as UTS comes storming out of that portal as they swap up the composition. Anthony with another KO. They're just looking for Nonobo, who will walk away with their tail between their legs. UTS with another strong portal fight here.
That it certainly will be. Tony going to be able to zone it in and hone their strengths well. There's more where that came from. They certainly will be looking to lock it down. It's time for the 1000-fold slash. They are going to be able to crash into this one and are looking to see if they can catch anyone else. Milk's going to be taken down. Good start coming out from Swinburne here. See if they can fight their way back in, but the damage too grand, too great. Fuente will go down, but here we go. Rage of Ultron coming out from Golomio here. Still got so much more to do, but they might just be able to get it done. Dinosaur Billow is out of here, and there's more and more to follow. Moxicles locked and loaded.
Yeah, swapping up to the Psylocke. Wasn't expecting this one out of Moxicles. Normally, you know, as we said, prowess on the Hela, prowess on the Phoenix has been pretty good. But yeah, Moxicles playing a little bit more dive-centric this time around, especially with the fact that they've been giving UTS a lot of space, and they'll happily take it. Anthony finding Moxicles. That will open up the fight here now for UTS. They'll look to walk it up. Soul Resurgence as well. The Dark Child from Anthony. Not really going to be doing a whole too much. Of course, that Soul Resurgence just keeping everybody healthy here for Swinburne, but also Dinosaur Pillow find that mark. Fate of both worlds out here for Milk. Eternal Bonds coming in. Blade as well. See, I have Agamotto as well. 1000-fold slash. Everything being piled on top of the point here for UTS. And of course, the anti-heal there from the 1000-fold slash is doing the wonders.
Absolutely doing wonders there and finding so much potential. But speaking of potential, Suni is tapping into it right now, and UTS will be able to fight their way back in. So, Swinburne desperately need to fight on here, need to gain that control back, otherwise UTS are just going to push ahead and continue. Garner more control onto the mission area here, continue to get more and more through, but here we go. Dance to the butterfly coming at you. Damage coming around the back. They are going to be able to stay alive, though. They're still kicking onto this one. And it's all looking grim from here.
Yeah, no picks found there, no KOs from the likes of Swinburne popping all their ultimates. So now this is UTS able to stabilize and re-stagger out this approach. Anthony there, Dark Child with the backline looking for Golem off in the air, and that's not what you expect of the Magic. You don't expect the snipe out of air. Anthony going absolutely huge here on towards the backline, potentially for Nonobo, who's running away to spawn once again with their tail between their legs. Overtime will tick. We'll see the fight potentially come out. They'll find John Clefine, but they need to find Nonobo. Will be able to dash on the point. The 1000-fold slash coming through from J-Sune to stop that healing from coming through from the strategist. Moxicles able to find Dinosaur Pillar and, of course, on Anthony, but it's all she wrote. Point not be able to be touched there by Swinburne, and will be a 2-0 domination from UTS.
Oh my, TwoTapTony, they have had a commanding victory there. Definitely coming off to a good start. J-Sune gonna be the MVP on the Blade as well. You know, I talked about Blade coming out every so often, a bit of a niche pick there, and it works out wonderfully. Having such high mobility, a duelist with the Strange at the Vanguard, everyone getting on top of things, taking control of their positions there, it just works out so wonderfully well. And they are going to be very happy with how things played out there in it's the first map on Domination Tone, but there's still Convoy on the way through coming up next as well, and I think Swinburne are going to be able to switch up a thing or two to really take ownership of this one.
Yeah, maybe we see the thing come through, man. I feel like, you know, the thing's fallen out of favor. Everybody just playing the Strange Magic team up. But as well, to point out, MVP performance there from J-Sune, with that Blade being a highly movable duelist with the Magic, but as well, J-Sune didn't perish once. I was going to say the casualty didn't come to 21-0 there for Jay Sune on the Blade. And yeah, I was going to say, I feel like this is a little bit of a hybrid dive composition coming out from the side of UTS, because we saw Gas very much up in the fray there, playing on top of the front line there from Swinburne, and there was nothing they could do, right? Nonobo got staggered out in so many of those fights, just kind of had to run away. And you know, it's rough to see from Swinburne. This is where we needed to see them lock in, and hopefully we'll get to see them adapt a little bit. We saw, you know, a few change-ups in the compositions here. We saw Moxicles go over to the Psylocke. I feel like that might be what Swinburne want to bring to the table here, maybe a little bit more dive-centric themselves, because I feel like the strategist there for the side of UTS hadn't been touched.
Yeah, so playing into that zone, maybe something that they could play into this one is potentially jump into the newly reformed Gamma Squid team up. You know, bring out the Hulk, bring out a BP with that new shielding on them. I think there's definitely some great potential they can tap into with something like that. So curious to see if you know, they're able to, I guess, lock in with some more higher mobility characters, much like something along those lines. You know, I guess it goes to show like how we did see the likes of UTS play into the Blade there, play into the Magic. Like those are pretty highly mobile heroes coming through there. You know, obviously TwoTapTony going to be having the reality erasure, but everything's going to be A-OK once we get into the game there, Tony. And definitely eager to see. You know, I think we've had a bit of everything tonight. You know, we've had players going through strange portals in interviews, TwoTapTony getting reality erased in the cast. I don't know what's going on, Tony. I'm getting worried. You know, what's next? Are we going to see something just completely outrageous? The invincible pulse cannon is just going to come right now? Like, what's going to happen, Tony?
I want to see more pulse cannons. I was going to say, I feel like the Ultron...
Iron Man.
Yeah, I don't mind Iron Man. I feel like the Invisible Pulse Cannon's one of those ultimates that really makes or breaks a fight. You know, you find one or two crucial targets with that Pulse Cannon, and, you know, that's the fight won for you. And especially with all the Ultron that's being played for a few of these teams, I was like, where's the Iron Man? Where's the team up, guys? I was going to say, you make your Ultron just that little bit stronger by playing into the Iron Man, even though, you know, maybe you don't have as much impact with that Pulse Cannon, with the damage that comes out from the Iron Man. It's pretty good. I was going to say the team up's pretty good for Ultron. But yeah, I was going to say we've seen a lot of strange magic. We've seen a lot of prio as well towards the strategists. I feel like, yeah, we definitely need to see a little bit more of the Gamma team ups out of some of these teams to deal with those flyers, to deal with the dive potential from the magic and strange that we're seeing from a lot of these teams.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? I think that there's definitely great potential for them to utilize that. You know, even if they brought out BP and more, I think it wouldn't be the worst thing possible. You know, I think it would be very annoying, especially for the flying characters there. But I don't know. I think that every team has their reasons at this point in time, and, you know, they're just looking to give it their best. But speaking of the best, it's going to be Luna taking Luna given. And now it's time for more. His torch was stolen away, but something else that has to go now.
Yeah, what do we see taken away from UTS? Yeah, the Ultron. Definitely feel like that one you don't want to give in the hands of UTS, because they'll really use that one to fruition. They're going to take away the torch, and they're opting to pick the torch here for Moxicles, I imagine. So we're going to be seeing the Ultron taken away. Great adaptations here for both sides, right? You know, Swinburne identifying that the Ultron is a little bit annoying to deal with, so they'll take it away. But as well, side of UTS, they don't want to deal with the Ultron either.
No, they do not, and looks like Swinburne don't want to deal with Emma Frost once again. UTS zoning out the Invisible Woman there, so no boundaries coming into this one. Very interested to see what else they may be able to do. Going to be locking down Cloak and Dagger. So, the Eternal Bond is on a line, Tony. But what else has to go?
There's a lot of things that potentially need to go here. I feel like maybe we'll see... not a Jeff, man. Maybe we see Swinburne take away Jeff at the last moment here. But Emma being taken away for both sides. So UCS, they're like, yeah, We don't have to really play into the Emma. We don't have to play against it either. So they'll take that one away. Cloak and Dagger lock. Woo. We see a Rocket lock as the final one there for UTS. That's an interesting one.
I mean, it makes sense though, right? Because you think about earlier when we saw that res composition come out with the BRB beacon there, you know, they were really able to tap into that. Like Potash, for example. But curious to see how UTS activates this. Ooh, that's big. That's actually really big. Taking away that Strange just entirely nullifies the Magic team up. So now they have to approach this from a whole different angle. That's crazy to see that come out from them there and prioritizing that one. It does leave further strategist capabilities open for them, don't get me wrong, but it still does take that team up away from them. So curious to see how they go with the symbiotic team up there. You know, they got Jeff and Venom online here. No Hela yet, but Hela is possible. We know what Moxicles is capable of there, so definitely could see a switch off into the Hela to complete the full set there. However, knowing the power of the torch, they may just stick in that direction, at least for the moment. But, you know, we talked about the Gamma team up earlier, Tony, and it looks like they're going at least one way in that direction, where they've brought out the Hulk for UTS. They do have the Wolverine as well, Groot. So I'm really liking the changes that both of these rosters are making right now.
Yeah, there's a lot being swapped up here. As, of course, John Clefine going over to the Magneto should be an interesting one. Golmio get to rock with the Loki. That should be an interesting one.
Yeah, it certainly should be a super interesting one there, Tony. And curious to see what they are going to be able to do as Obstacles and Go are going to be getting down to business on this one. To see if they can catch anyone else here. Here we go. And they're just tap their way through. Big hits coming over the top there. Nanobo going to be KO'd through. Dinosaur Pillow looking to see what they can achieve here. But there's still more where that came from. And Squirrel Girl with all the power.
Squirrel Girl with all the power. Anthony with a kidnap there. Onto John Clefine. They're trying to find Moxicles, though, up in the air for the moment, but Jaysune will be able to snipe them away. They're looking for a pickup there. Swings on through to Kaguya. And now we see the upfront pressure that this UTS side can bring when given the dive characters here.
Just so much potential when they bring out that dive composition there, and very eager to see what they are going to be able to achieve. They push in to next up portion here as... Oh, here we go, Tony. Ask and you shall receive. It's Iron Man.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it has the same impact, though, with the Ultron not available. So, Novo going to see what they can do with that one. We'll see as well. Jaysune Itsune being a menace here on the Duelist. We'll see the Dinosaur Pillow ultimate come out as well from the Squirrel Girl. The Moxicles, they're having to deal with Gas, who, again, I was going to say, he was doing the same thing on Strange, just being an absolute menace, trying to dive on top of the Flyers, but as well, the backline, Floente will take out Moxicles, dashing away from the Jeff time. They will be able to swallow up Milk News, but Luna's got no one to help back them up here and will be taken out. As we'll see the side of UTS just continue this dominant push.
Time after time, they are just continually drawing the line here, looking to give it their absolute best. And they are going to be able to get a spectacular spin through as well. Jaysune is swinging away and takes out a double. Oh, no way. Oh, no triple.
No triple, but Jaysune is playing well in Spider-Man. I was going to say some master of the movement. You know, we normally don't get to see that. I guess in the Uni League overall, you know, Spider-Man's not a pick that comes out all too often. And, you know, when it's given the opportunity to shine, Jaysune is using that one super well. We'll be able to pick off Nanobo on the walkout here. As we'll just see UTS stop them in their spawn for the moment. We'll see Loki use the Eternal Pond to try to get them back onto the mission vehicle. J-Sune has taken out Moxicle, so the Supernova is not available here. As UTS just continue to stagger these KOs and find these fights that win them these overall pushes on this cart. As we'll see once again, is trapped in the spawn gate. Swinburne can't get out.
Can't get out, can't get in, and see if they can take a Supernova for a spin. They're trying to shut it down here. Anthony desperately clamoring around, and at long last, Moxicles will take down Floente. Nanobo are going to be dreaded out, though. Meteor coming out from John Clefine here. There's more where that came from. Golemio's down, Moxicles is down, everybody's going down. These staggered KOs are not helping Swinburne. They will go down just like that. They push the mission vehicle the full distance, and they have 4 minutes and 1 second to spare.
Good lord. That is... That's rough, Matt. 4 minutes? Just... I was going to say, not at any point did UTS stop pushing that cart. They had at least one on at all times there, and just everybody else was swinging and throwing haymakers. J-Sune, Anthony, and of course, as well, their frontline gas was on mock there, but we're going to be seeing some things swap up. UTS now to the defense side, and going to be potentially thinking about the triple Vanguard, triple strategist here. Well, the side of Swinburne still thinking what they want to bring to the table. Kaguya are going to be on to the Hulk, so we're going to be seeing the Gamma team up for the side of Swinburne as well.
Here we go. It's coming at you, Tony. But no BP. That's okay, they don't need it. I think the squids are going to be enough here. You know, I think there's definitely some grand potential to come through from this, but one and the same. UTS have brought out our favorite duelist, Adam Warlock there, so great to see that one getting locked in here. Really curious if the Karmic Revival is going to pay dividends for them onto the defensive side here, Tony, but what I'm saying, curious if the squids are going to be able to elevate that offensive presence.
We saw I guess a cheeky little mindset up there potentially from UTS as well, they're going to be playing on top of the mission vehicle, and I guess the Swinburne right there just not trying to get picked off early here. You can see Gas just trying to put those walls up, try and isolate a target. And of course, for the side of Swinburne, they're playing into this one super well. They're playing safe. They'll be able to break the nest here for Chocolate Bean as they'll try to walk up. But Chocolate Bean's quite low. Luxury, though, is you're just able to walk up back into your spawn gate. The top's up here. UTS, they're going to have to keep on top of it. Chocolate Bean almost falling once again. And UTS, they'll continue to hold it here. The swap up for Nanobo is going to be... The wounds are gone. Moonlight.
Yeah, the Moon Knight is online. They gonna be looking to bring out Khonshu, the hand of Khonshu, with the strangling present. Oh, the damage. Oh my days. They will not be able to catch anything further from this. UTS need to find a way back in. You know, they've got triple Vanguard, triple strategist. It's a very defensive composition right now. And they have to do whatever they can to get away from these ultimates.
Will be the walking away. BkWhatOCE is available here. The Seer comes out from Luna as they'll try to walk up. These strategists here are, I was going to say, staying on top of things for the moment for UTS, but Nanobo will be able to find Dinosaur Pillow. KO's finally coming away. Spider Sweep, Karmic Revival here. As UTS try to make their approach back here, will be the res coming through off of the Karmic Revival. Meteor is available for J-Sune. But still Swinburne, you know, a lot of ultimates pop there for UTS, and they weren't quite able to find anything. Swinburne continue their push. Nanobo just playing safety at the range here.
No more spider nest.
Safety at the range, and they are ready to arrange a KO or a few with perhaps an invincible pulse cannon. I'm sure they're thinking about it. Positioning could be grand here, but for the moment, continuing to pump up that damage, try and push them over the line. We are seeing the invisible boundary coming up here, so at least going to hold things down a while longer. UTS need exactly that, just to stall things out for the moment. They will be able to succeed in that endeavor, at least for the time being.
Yeah, they, I was going to say they opted to retreat. I saw Nonobo Obstacles opt to go back where they feel a little bit safer fighting around this corridor with their teammates coming up, and now of course UTS. This is a very important fight once again for them to continue to hold this choke. Of course, we're going to be seeing the Squirrel Girl ultimate popped here. We're going to be seeing no fate of both worlds to keep everybody up and healthy. Jsuno still has that Meteor M, Eternal Bond coming through here from Obstacles. We'll see Kaguya as well with the Spider Sweep. As we'll see UTS maybe threatened a little bit here, and we'll see Eternal Bond, of course, on top of Strangling Prison, on top of Nonobo still finding these fights. Spider Sweep coming through here still from Kaguya. Pulse Cannon behind Gas.
Go, that's the way it's going to go, but see ya coming online for both sides right now. It's going to be an issue because Swinburne evaded theirs last, and still going to be able to capitalize upon that extended damage. But you know what else is going to be extended? It's the group walls coming up, blocking off line of sight here. Invisible boundary coming out from Fluente. They get the KO through on Akagia, looking to shut down the opposing rocket as well. See if they can get those KOs over the top there, nullify the lines of sight for the strategists here, and it works out wonderfully. Nonobo down. They found the beacon, but Iron Man's back. They'll lock in. Need to get the KOs through, otherwise this could be over and out before they even know it, Tony.
Yeah, that Strangely Prison didn't really quite hit its mark, but that's all right. UTS, they still have power and numbers to hold down this potential. Golmio, though, will be able to find some KOs, but they get off of the mission vehicle. Matt, UTS will be able to hold it down there. Swinburne, unfortunate circumstances there. Golmio found all the KOs necessary to win that fight out, but it's UTS picking up the W.
My goodness me, Jsuno gonna be the MVP there. Amazing stuff coming out from UTS. They will claim victory in this map, in this series. GG. Well played. And now the stats are being displayed here. You know what I see, Tony? I see Jsuno coming at you with 13 final hits there, 20 KOs. And they flowed that together.
Yeah, it was all the Spider-Man, right? I was going to say, I feel like he didn't really do all too much on the mag. He held the Meteor for so long, too. I was like, when is Jsuno going to pop this one? But yeah, that Spider-Man was absolutely terrifying to deal with for the side of Swinburne. And well-deserved MVP, of course. But I was going to say, UTS overall, showing that, the flexibility once again comes into play, Matt. Some of these teams that have found themselves some clean victories this evening have shown flexibility. We saw a lot of different priority taken away from Swinburne. Of course, the Strange getting out of the mix there, so, you know, the Magic team-up's not available. UTS, they're like, all right, we'll play into Gamma, we'll play into Triple Vanguard, Triple Strategist, and it pays off super well. UTS with a clean W tonight.
Correct. They are going to be able to get a clean W through and are going to be very happy with the way that they have gone. You know, they've managed to heave their way over the top and have managed to really take a stand here, claim their place. But very curious to see how things will play out after tonight, you know. I'm curious what is going to be on all of our players' minds coming forward from here, Tony.
Yeah, I was gonna say who's booked their seed into the playoffs, because you know we had a lot of complicated math behind the scenes, and of course we'll work that out at the conclusion of this final one. But overall, very well played for UTS, a well-deserved victory to their board, and unfortunately for Swinburne, not quite able to get it across the line.
Yeah, not going to be across the line, but you know what is going to be across the line? We are going to be jumping in to an interview with Anthony!
Hey guys, how's it going?
Fantastic. A pleasure to have you on board once again. And what a victory. You know, big confidence coming through from you guys there. Like, I was really impressed with how you guys navigated the compositions. And I guess I'm curious, like, we don't normally see the Spider-Man. What was the gist with that one coming out?
Jae is he's pretty good at Spider-Man. Um, he has brought it out a couple times, specifically on like Araco. He loves that map where he can just get Pool's first point. So if he feels confident on the day, we're glad to let him play it.
Yeah, absolutely. If he's feeling it, why not? And I was gonna say you guys tried for a cheeky little portal play as well. I was gonna say trying to get somebody through with the penny net there. What the comms like for that one? Unfortunately, didn't quite find the mark, but of course still going for it nevertheless.
Yeah, we've been trying that out. I think we're sort of getting it down pat. Unfortunate today, I think we had the Captain America lock a couple of our pools. So yeah, we didn't get any portals off today, but yeah, it's something we like to do from time to time, just to get a pick on early.
Yeah, definitely important to get those early picks there, stagger them out so they kind of build up. Really important. And great to see you guys are locked in that respect. But I guess coming forwards, looking at the game as a whole right now, like, do you feel like you're happy with how things are now that Angela's into the mix there, or do you think maybe there should be some further changes?
I love what they've done to Magic. He feels much stronger now with her team up specifically. Without that, it's sort of just like the right click buff, and you don't really see any changes. Angela, I feel like she's not going to get much play right now. She's definitely a character that's meant for teams with really good communication and strategy. You really have to play around her, and I don't think she's like a character you're going to see in just competitive play, ranked in that. So yeah, she's in a weird spot. Definitely needs some buffs before we see her played, but yeah.
No, great to hear it, and yeah, curious to see, I suppose, how things will go with that character and the game as a whole heading towards the rest of this season, let alone season 4.5. But yeah, once again, Anthony, just really solid stuff coming out from you and the team there. You guys always play a pretty solid game, and yeah, I've been very impressed with not just you in particular, but yeah, your team as a whole through the season. You guys are awesome.
Thanks for that. Thanks.
Appreciate it. But thank you so much for coming on with us, Anthony. It's always a pleasure to have our players on board, get the various different insights there. And yeah, I really hope we get to hear from you again soon.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hope to see you guys again.
All right, too easy. Great to get Anthony on board there, Tony. Always good to, pick the brain, as you would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd love to pick the brain. Yeah, I was gonna say interesting. So two against Angela being competitively viable, and 1 for. So we might have some sway votes here for some of these guys. But yeah, definitely. I guess I can kind of echo that statement a little bit from Anthony. The communication needs to be absolutely on point to really use that Angela effectively. And for a team like UTS, who knows? Maybe we get to see that one in the future from them. They get a little bit of time to practice that one. Could be a good pick for them. But yeah, overall, good to hear Anthony's thoughts about the patch as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to hear, I guess, what the players are thinking and feeling about the game as a whole and how things will change over time. But what's changing over time? It's how the day went. Let's check out exactly what went down here today. We had a start with RMIT dominating their way through against QUT 2-0 there. A surprise matchup, honestly. And following suit, it was UNSW taking down Macquarie there and showcasing their confidence in their interview. They want to be tested, and we'll see if they will be heading into the future endeavors. But it's time for Monash and Deacon here. 2-0 once again. Monash bringing up their prowess, bringing up their power. Really impressed with how they managed to hold themselves together and really impressed with how they managed to put themselves over the line. But last but not least, it is UTS and Swinburne. So 2-0 once again, and UTS just really confident, honestly. Just everybody bringing up a lot of confidence today. The consistent trend, and now we're going to see the results of all these victories.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as we've of course tallied up the results. The tiebreakers were calculated, and these are the results for you. UNSW, of course, 6-1. Monash 5-2, RMIT 5-2, and UTS 5-2. So QUT, they get a win to their board, but they'll be 5th overall. Macquarie, Swinburne, and Deacon down at the bottom there, Matt. And yeah, it's I was gonna say, we got to speak to UNSW. They're looking very confident. Monash is looking like a team that we expected, right? They had a little bit of ups and downs throughout the season. RMIT as well had a little bit of ups and downs throughout their season, but both of them have been really locked in for these last few weeks of competition, and definitely can see why they're at that 2 and 3rd mark.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a lot of sense there. It's unfortunate that QUT weren't able to take away the win today, but alas, we do have our teams locked and loaded towards the upper side of the bracket here. So, solid foundation has been laid here, Tony. We are going to be seeing some amazing times ahead of us because it's time to check out our playoffs. Ooh. And here it is, everybody. Next week, we are kicking off with our semi-final matchups. UNSW taking on UTS to kick off, and Monash to take on RMIT to follow suit there. It is going to be a battle for the ages. It is going to be an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, I'm excited. Those are some scary semi-final matches, right? UNSW versus UTS should be super hot. I was going to say, I believe we got to see both of those to go toe-to-toe throughout the season, and it was definitely one that could have went either way. Monash and RMIT as well is one of those that could go either way. It definitely depends on what teams we see on the day, right? Whether it's a hot Monash or whether it's, a slow start RMIT. Both semifinals are going to be absolutely jam-packed with action, Matt, and I can't wait for it.
Oh, I can't wait for it either, Tony. The playoffs is the best part of the season. You get to see all the hard work pay off, and you get to see who will be able to get one step closer towards the crown, who will be able to take their way up towards the prize. But speaking of prizes, Tony, my favorite prize is our sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely. We love our sponsors. AGON by AOC, the #1 gaming monitor brand in the world. AGON by AOC provide the best in-class monitor solutions for gaming and all other needs.
That's it, and a big shout out to HyperX and Officeworks. Power your game with the latest HyperX gear at Officeworks. When you need speed, control, and zero distractions, Officeworks has got the tech. Discover gaming gear made to handle serious play.
And last but not least, Indomie, the noodle partner made with high-quality flour and selected ingredients and spices. A plate of Indomie mee goreng will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the flavors available today at your local grocer or at indomie.com.au. Again, Matt, shout out to our sponsors, and of course, we're going to thank them all the time. It wouldn't be possible without them.
That's it. Big appreciation to all of our sponsors there. You know them, you love them, and AEL, if you love AEL, make sure you check out AU Esports League on all our social medias there. X, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Well, you know what? We are on it. We got all the highlights coming at you. Make sure you check them out. See some of the best plays recapped through. And there's going to be more where that came from. Going into next week, we are back with our playoffs. The season is reaching its peak, and you do not want to miss this. This is going to be an absolute banger. And I hope to see all of you there, same time, same place, next week. See you then.